So hey guys. Welcome back to my channel. This is a continuation of What If Naruto Was an Elite Anbu Captain and paired with Anko. Thank you guys for showing lot of love. I promise you guys, I will upload whole series on this channel. I hope at the end of the series I will get 1k subscribers. But before I start, you guys have to use 1000 Year of Death Jutsu on the like and subscribe button until they change their color. Hit the bell icon if you don't want to miss the next part. Now, let's start the story. So, how can I become Anbu? Within 1 year. Then Tsunade said, but you have to complete 20 and B ranked missions in 1 year from now. For that, you'll be pairing with Kakashi in those missions. Eventually, I'll add a third or fourth person in the squad if the mission calls for it. I'm ready for it. Naruto, the condition he set up is similar to the condition for you to become a Jounin. So, when completing these missions, it would be best to upgrade to Jounin, then join the Anbu. Will the Anbu chief agree with that? That's negotiable. As I said, he demonstrated a lot of interest in you. Naruto was walking straight to his apartment after his promotion at Tsunade's office, now wearing his Chunin outfit. Naruto chose to wear the standard Chunin outfit since it took away his peculiar clothing and no one would recognize him without the orange jumpsuit or even the clothes that he wore during the Chunin exams. I actually did pretty well at the exam, didn't I? Naruto was going over what happened at the fight and how he was able to stay calm and win the battle. Strangely, he noticed back in the third round of the Chunin exams that the crowd was actually cheering for him. He could even feel the seats trembling from the noise. Naruto remained walking towards getting some ramen since he didn't have time to eat it since the beginning of the exams until he felt Kakashi's chakra not so far from where he was, so he decided to go see what his sensei was doing. When Naruto found Kakashi, he was just standing in front of the ninja memorial stone that engraved the names of ninjas that died in a mission or protecting Konoha from enemy ninjas. Heyo, Kakashi. If I may ask, what are you doing here? Said Naruto greeting Kakashi before noticing that Kakashi's head was down looking at the monument with eyes looking down and what appeared to be a shame look on her face. Oh hi, Naruto, I was just letting my thoughts take place. Mumbled Kakashi, never taking his eyes off the memorial stone, almost like Naruto wasn't even there with him. I see. Well, I just came by because I felt your presence nearby, but if you want I can leave you alone. Said Naruto as he was already turning to leave for Kakashi to clear his mind, but since Naruto really changed, Kakashi was considering on letting Naruto know of his secret, the one grudge he still has that hold him to the past. Okay, thanks. Naruto, would you come here please, I want to show you something. What is it, Kakashi-sensei? Can you see the name written on the third line, bottom up, left to right? Said Kakashi pointing the name so that Naruto could follow. Uchiha Obito. Who was H? Asked Naruto, but when he saw Kakashi's face after the name revelation, he immediately thought better than ask more questions than his sensei was willing to answer. He was my teammate when we were Genins of Konoha. Actually, our team was made pretty much the same way as Team 7. I was the rookie of the year while Obito was, well, I'm not saying the word. The Sakura part of my team belonged to a person called Rin, but no one was able to locate her after a while. Since our team was formed during the last Shinobi War, there were many missions that nowadays would be in S-ranked, but on that time, we only did C-ranked missions. It was one certain mission that went badly. Said Kakashi as he was picturing the events of the mission for don't know how many times. What happened? Simple and to the point. That was the only way to not interrupt Kakashi's wondering, so he could tell Naruto. If Naruto were to ask many questions, it could disrupt the link, and Kakashi would be hesitating to tell him. It was a mission that involved the destruction of a bridge that the Iwa battalion used to travel, located near the grass country. I was cocky at the time, I was just promoted to Jounin, and I faced everyone like they were nothing. But then, a Doton technique was performed by an Iwa Jounin, and a rock avalanche was coming the way of our team. Because I was low on chakra, I felt on the floor and wouldn't be able to survive the jutsu. Obito picked me up and threw me in a safe distance, saving me and killing him. In his last strength, he gave me his right eye Sharingan. If the rocks did not cover the other Sharingan, he would have given me both Sharingan eyes. Said Kakashi, holding his tears. I see. Kakashi-sensei, we're not on a mission and no one is around. If you cannot cry with your new teammate, how can you trust him? Said Naruto putting one hand on top of Kakashi's shoulders in sympathy for the lazy Jounin suffering. The thing is that I somehow can't stop thinking that I screwed up real badly, and every time I remember what happened, I just feel the need to punish my old foolish self. Said Kakashi, now surrendering, and tears were slowly but steadily falling though his face. Kakashi-sensei, now I see why you're so firm into the speech about those who abandon their comrades is worse than trash. After a nod from the Jounin, Naruto continued, I see, now. I don't know if this will help you or not, Kakashi-sensei, but Obito is alive. He is alive inside you, in fact he's using his eyes to see the world together with you, he will always be where you are, since you have a part of him inside of you, and I'm not only referring to the Sharingan, if you know what I mean," said Naruto, now knowing why Kakashi was always late, why Kakashi always valued his friendship with others. "He's dead because of me, Naruto. Other tried to convince me otherwise, but deep inside this eye is a very well reminder of that day, and every time I use the Sharingan, I try to hold this tears that you are now seeing. In fact I think you're the first one to see such tears," said Kakashi, still crying but not sobbing. "It's hard, isn't it? To have something that aids you in battle, but at the same time causes you more pain and suffering than anything you've ever seen," said Naruto, now reaching through Kakashi that no one had never been able to, not either the Yondaime to whom Kakashi thought as a father figure, and now here was his son doing yet another feat. Kakashi, upon hearing this, became wide-eyed and started looking at Naruto's deep blue eyes that if looked pretty deep, it showed nothing but sadness and painful moments. Right that instant, Kakashi understood what Naruto was talking about, but what he did then could very well unleash something terrible to the blonde. "Yes, but my burden is nothing compared to yours, Naruto," said Kakashi, now stopped feeling sad for Obito and now feeling pity for Naruto, not at all realizing that what he said pretty much woke up every bottled up emotion inside Naruto and he couldn't contain it anymore. Naruto for once never liked people to feel pity for him, and he understood that others had suffered as well. But what Naruto despised more than the fox itself was for his suffering to be compared with other person's suffering, like the person saying that he suffered more or he suffered less. "Don't you dare compare my pain with yours. What do you think that my burden can be compared to yours? Believe me, Kakashi-sensei, whatever Kyuubi did to me, it even compares to seeing a dear friend dying in front of my eyes," screamed Naruto, altering his voice to the Kyuubis without even knowing, much to Kakashi's awe-staring, much to Kakashi's ultimate regret. Now Kakashi wasn't afraid of the strong aura that surrounded his student. Such aura carried a deep burden, and he didn't have to look Naruto's eyes to see that he was crying. He was crying because of what Kyuubi caused him, but most of all he was crying only by imagining to have a burden similar to his sensei. Right there, Kakashi, somehow, grouped Naruto in a father hug while ignoring the fact that Naruto's red chakra was slowly burning his arms in the process. Tsunade's office. Tsunade was inside her office when suddenly a powerful aura came rushing her senses and she instantly remembered sensing Naruto's chakra that way before. In a blur, she shunshined to the area where she sensed the presence and saw Kakashi hugging Naruto while still engulfed with Kyuubi's chakra. Seeing the fact that Tsunade was scared of the Kyuubi getting out, she didn't notice that the air around them carried an immense sense of sadness and she started to cry without even realizing it. Naruto's aura was the cause, and she right then could feel what could be described as being what Naruto felt like growing up because of the Kyuubi. Tsunade now had a glimpse of what Naruto went through and she just couldn't stop crying. Around Konoha. Around Konoha, three girls felt as well the aura which showed them only sorrow and grief. It was chakra filled with all but negative emotions. Sadness, depression, loneliness, grief, sorrow, rage, despair. All this emotion seemed to be appearing through them all at once, and the girls couldn't help but start to cry without knowing any reason to it. Kurenai, Shizune and Anko were crying, and none of them knew the reason why, but they very well felt it, and they all wondered who the hell could suffer like this and not lose his or her mind. What happening to me? Why am I crying all of a sudden? I already know this feeling, but never to such a degree. Who's causing this? Anko. Oh my god, my heart is crushing me, what's the matter with me, why this is happening, I can't stop crying. Shizune. I never felt like this my entire life, such feelings bottled up and it's increasing madly, if this continues, I don't think I can hold it, Kurenai. After some thoughts, these girls all came with the same conclusion, they didn't know for certain who was doing this, but deep inside their hearts, they very well knew just who was the person and where did such emotions came from, and they at the same time thought of the only one who could suffer as much was the one and only. Naruto-kun, Shizune. Naruto, Kurenai. Baki, Anko. At the memorial. At the memorial, Naruto was slowly gaining conscience after feeling what could be described as a father hug coming from Kakashi, and he turned to smile, realizing that he was not alone, knowing that they were others with burdens to carry just as he did. While looking at Kakashi's arms being slightly burned, he turned to look at his sensei's eyes, only to see he smiling, but this time was one of the smiles that Kakashi gave when he was happy and with not a care in the world. Because of Naruto's way of putting words, Naruto made him realize that deep wounds are tough to heal, but that didn't mean that they couldn't get away in time, and Kakashi wanted so much to thank Naruto for what he did. Kakashi knew that Naruto vowed to never channel the fox's chakra again, but he was glad Naruto used it, since such words were kept deep inside of him, and he no longer felt the burden carried by him because of Obito. After some time, Naruto drifted to unconscious and Kakashi slowly rested him on the grass around the monument and turned to see the Godame right in front of him sobbing. Upon seeing this, Kakashi knew that the Godame had some kind of family link with the blonde Chunin and he figured that Tsunade felt like no one the pain through Naruto's aura. Then Kakashi went to the Godame and did exactly what Naruto did to him, he rested one of his hands on Tsunade's shoulders. I figured you felt Naruto's pain as well, didn't you Hokage-sama? How could he survived all this long, Kakashi? How could he bottle up so much inside of him? I can't help but fear that what we felt was a mere fraction of how much he suffered. He is just a boy and he suffered a lot. Sobbed Tsunade, contemplating how deep was Naruto's wound. No one knows Godame-sama, only one who shared a similar path can grasp exactly how much he suffered. But I wouldn't underestimate him if I were you, Hokage-sama. Naruto could very well be a boy in age number, but I can guarantee that what he suffered, hardly can anyone suffer as much even with 100 years to live. But he is a shinobi of Konohagakure, and a very proud one if I may add. Said Kakashi managing to calm the Godame. Tsunade for her part, saw Kakashi with new lights this time. She looked at his eyes and could very well see that he was still crying, but a strange aura of determination surrounded him, and she could very well see the white fang of Konoha's Haddock Tsukumo, rising once again from the ashes. Damn it, Naruto. Even Kakashi. How can you do this? How can you manage to save everyone but not yourself? Kakashi, I can see your student's eyes in you. Said Tsunade now smiling while seeing that Naruto passed his determination to Kakashi. Naruto has a strange ability of helping everyone, Tsunade-sama. But sadly he cannot help himself, it's like he was destined to see others happy, instead of being happy himself. Said Kakashi now turning his back on Tsunade hiding the tears from the Hokage and looking at the now sleepy Chunin. It is sad indeed, Kakashi. But while his abilities do not help him, we could as hell give it a try, what do you think? Said Tsunade, now joining Kakashi watching the blonde sleeping peacefully. I would sure do it, even if you didn't say so. Seeing Naruto is like having sensei here with us again, and now Naruto managed to do something not even his father could do it. Said Kakashi, looking at the sky smiling at the now deceased Yondaime, where out of a sudden, a beam of light engulfed Naruto's sleepy form, showing that Minato was up there watching everything with the broadest smile on his face. And what would that be? Asked Tsunade, just waiting for the answer that the strongest jounin of the village was about to give with all honesty. Naruto just saved me from myself. Said Kakashi earning a smile from Tsunade. I can very well see that, Neo-White Fang of Konoha. Said Tsunade, resting her hands around her waist, while seeing for the first time, even though it was covered by his mask, Kakashi's genuine smile upon hearing the name that made his father famous throughout the shinobi countries. At Tsunade's office. After putting Naruto on his bed, Kakashi had his arms healed by Tsunade and they went to her office to start planning on the missions him and Naruto would be performing starting tomorrow. When they entered the office, they were greeted by Shizune who happened to also feel the insanely sad aura, showing very well that she has been crying as well. When Tsunade selected the mission scrolls that involved some A and B ranked missions, she told Shizune what happened and assured her that Naruto was okay since he was resting inside his apartment. Shizune was relieved beyond words for knowing that her brother was okay, but she was sad, knowing that the aura she felt even for far away represented Naruto's sad life and tough wounds he held while growing up. Needless to say the three saw Naruto with utmost respect. Naruto woke up the next day, feeling like a huge weight came off his shoulders. Somehow, he was feeling better than ever. With the memory slowly flooded him, he remembered the new bonding he now have with Kakashi, and he smiled greatly. Kakashi was the brother he never had, and Naruto didn't want anything more than earn his Itauto's recognition. When he was about to go out, a person knocked on the door. 1 minute. Oh. Hello Rikimaru-san, how can I help you? Said Naruto greeting the wolf-masked Anbu at the door, who for his part was mentally wanting to berate the blonde for revealing his identity to everyone. Hi Naruto. First of all, don't ever call by name when I'm wearing this mask, now Tsunade-sama is calling you at her office. Said Rikimaru, scowling Naruto. Okay, sorry. I was used to address you like that, I forgot to use your codename. Now, the Hokage is calling for me. Okay thanks, I'll be there. Naruto was jumping roof to roof on his way to Tsunade's office. Little did he know that a certain pink-haired girl was watching him as he passed flying near one of the hospital's windows, while doing the only thing she has been doing since Naruto's change, she sobbed. At Tsunade's office. Tsunade was working through her papers when a knock was heard. She was cursing herself from having to deal with what seemed like the Hokage's worst nightmare, paperwork. Tsunade wanted to burn the whole pile of paper with the most damaging Kaiten jutsu she could think of. On her mind, she was picturing a Kaiten Karyuenden at the pile of paperwork and smiled. Enter. Said Tsunade as she came to see the blonde Chunin. She came to realize that Naruto's burden was his to bear and that Kakashi told her not to underestimate Naruto's intentions of keeping those emotions at bay, so she considered against asking questions. "Hello Tsunade-sama, you called me?" asked Naruto, assuming that was another one of the missions he would be doing with Kakashi, as Tsun told him about the Anbu chief's assignment for him to be qualified to Anbu duty. "Yeah, Naruto, come in. I have a new mission for you and Kakashi. It's a B-rank mission. Both of you are to travel to the daimyo's house." Apparently, his son received some death treats letters, so the fire daimyo requested a couple of ninjas to find out what's the treat and eliminate it. Actually, the further details of the mission are with Kakashi, already. He said for you to meet him at 9:30 am at Konoha's west gate. You are dismissed. Hi. Oh, Naruto, before you go, said Tsunade, trying to talk a little more to the Gaki, but he had already shined away in a little tornado, actually messing the paperwork a little bit. At the designated spot, Kakashi was reading his Icha tactics when Naruto appeared with a puff of smoke. Kakashi was literally a new man indeed. After yesterday, Kakashi was actually the first one to arrive at the designated spot for their mission, and Naruto noticed that, much to his surprise, since Kakashi was late for everything, and to think that their talk yesterday helped Kakashi immensely. "Hello Naruto. Ready to go?" said Kakashi, returning his book inside his kunai holster. "Hi, Kakashi-sensei. I sure am. Why you are here on time is beyond me, though," said Naruto, teasing his teammate, much to Kakashi's dismay. "You wouldn't stop that even if I asked you, right? I'm sure you've packed for a 4-day trip," said Kakashi, seeing Naruto actually enjoying himself every time he joked about Kakashi's being on time for things. "Yep. Okay, so let's get moving. The fire daimyo has a thing for good timing." With that, both Chunin and Jounin rushed through the forest, jumping from tree to tree in a faster pace. When nightfall became to appear, the ninjas had already covered 70 of the way, setting camp together. "Naruto, go get some water, I'll arrange everything," said Kakashi as he was laying a few stuff on the ground and started accumulating wood to form a little fireplace while making a few hand seals. Kaiknetsusa no Jutsu, 1. "Back in a second, Kakashi-sensei. I heard some river noise nearby, I won't be long," said Naruto as he almost disappeared in a blur and rushed towards the lake that was nearby. "Here, Kakashi-sensei," arrived Naruto as he gave a bucket with water for the Jounin to wash his face, as well as leave near the fire for when they had to extinguish the fire. "Arigato, Naruto. I see you like that little chakra exercise, don't you?" said Kakashi, smiling because of the fact that he never thought of such a thing before, and if he did it more often, he actually would increase his chakra reserves, even if we're only by a little bit. "What? Oh, yeah, I do. I figured that since you're not the same as Sato and Tonari, I wouldn't have to worry about you suffering from chakra exhaustion or something. We're almost at our destination, and we have one more day. We'll arrive there in no time." "Easy there, Naruto. If you were to do a mission with a person whose chakra capacity isn't the same as your Jounin level, you would have to abort the mission due to your teammates' chakra exhaustion," Kakashi laughed, thinking that actually most Jounins in Konoha still wouldn't be able to travel such a distance using chakra through their legs all the time. "Sorry, Kakashi-sensei. I need to calm my enthusiasm. The thing is, Kakashi-sensei, with my rush training and all the jutsus I learned in what a month and a half, I can't seem to relax," said Naruto as he was slowly breathing in and out as a way to calm the heartbeats a little bit. "If you want to relax, I have a simple but 100 effective exercise for you. Take this leaf and put it on your forehead. Then, just focus all your energy on that leaf. You'll see that this simple leaf can ease your state of mind like nothing else." "I see that. It's like everything around us suddenly frozen and my breathing is now relaxing," said Naruto as he continued to channel steady amount of chakra through the leaf and he was relaxing. "I'm glad to hear that. Part of training involves taking time to learn what you accomplished in order to see positive aspects, negative aspects, dangerous situations, everything, and most important of all, stay calm and focused. So, tell me, Naruto, how are you feeling now that you've accomplished part of your dream?" asked Kakashi, gaining once the attention from his ex-student. Tsunade-sama asked the same thing. "Kakashi-sensei, I'm feeling great, actually since I've been able to use more of my chakra, it seemed that I'm more at ease with myself. It must have been piling up inside my body, since it's rarely that I don't have enough chakra. But regarding to what happened before, now it seems that I do not care if a person underestimates me or treat me like an idiot, I'll simply walk away from that person, you know. It's like saying go bug someone else." "I see. That's good, Naruto. You should only be with the people who really care for you," said Kakashi as he was smiling at seeing the growth of his student, not only in a physical way but the mind as well. "I know that. Say, Kakashi-sensei. What is it?" It's just something that happened in the middle of the first and second part of the Chunin exams when Mitarashi-san entered the room, blasting the window. Said Naruto as he remembered that the snake mistress was noticing him differently than the rest of the genins. What about her? Asked Kakashi, as he was wondering why the hell Naruto would ask about the Mitarashi Anko, of all kunoichis that resided in Konoha. But now that Kakashi thought about it, Naruto and Anko did share a similar past, both being hated because of somebody else, and both managed to get out alive. When she looked at me, I could sense some second intention there. I don't know, she started sizing me up and down, with a smile on her face. Even though Naruto was growing up faster, he tended to blush a little bit, confessing to his sense that some girl could have the hots for him, much to Kakashi's dismay and intrigued look. Does Anko have a crush on Naruto? No, impossible, is it? Well, she seemed odd when the third part of the Chunin exams were on. She was cheering for Naruto like a mad person, screaming his name in joy and admiration. Could it be that? Thought Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei? Asked Naruto while looking perplexed at his sensei's reaction upon hearing what Naruto told about the snake mistress, and quite frankly, it was indeed scaring him a little bit while seeing Kakashi in deep thought. Oh, Naruto, I can't say for sure what that meant for her, she is a very active woman. Said Kakashi, scratching his head in defeat since he actually chose the best word he could muster as a way of describing Anko to Naruto without saying that she was a sadistic snake. What do you mean active? This was not going to be good, and Naruto knew he was in deep trouble, since if Anko had that look for him, if Kakashi's correct, he may well be in big trouble. I mean that if she wants something, she'll do everything in order to have it and she won't rest. According to you, she was checking you out, huh? Well, the only thing I can say is that she's very persuasive. The thing is, Naruto, Anko scares a lot of people in Konoha. The last guy who asked her out, well, sort of asked her out, woke up at the hospital from blood loss. Said Kakashi, trying not to scare Naruto too much, but strangely Naruto's reaction wasn't scared, and Kakashi noticed that. Oh, I get it, so that means she doesn't take crap from annoying people. Said Naruto, pretty much summing it up how Kakashi described Anko. Oh, and one more thing I know about her, and this one is pretty deep. She was the first apprentice of Orochimaru. That's why she knows a lot of snake jutsus, as well as the fact that she has the snake summon contract. Said Kakashi as his hand was under his chin while telling Naruto about Anko. Really? Said Naruto as he was thinking of what would have happened if something were to have between him and the snake mistress, and quite frankly, Naruto was giving some thought about the idea, something he never found he would, but he did. You changed a lot, Naruto. I wouldn't be surprised if some girl suddenly developed a crush on you, seeing as you grew up rather well. It seemed that Anko was taken aback by your behavior or even your new appearance. Said Kakashi as he was now smiling deviously at imagining the two of them together. What's with that smile, Kakashi-sensei, you don't have anything planned, do you? Said Naruto as he was studying his sensei's devious face, showing just like he found an interesting scene at one of his books. Nothing, Naruto, forget about it. Well, let's get some sleep. We'll rotate, you stay watching for enemies, and then I will. Said Kakashi as he was waving his hand in front of Naruto in a negative manner, showing him to forget about it and go to sleep. Okay, good night, Kakashi-sensei. With that, Naruto stayed on top of a tree log, guarding the camp, and stayed thinking. Why do I have the feeling that things will be more excited from now on? To know that Anko could be having a crush on me is something to think. I never had anyone who wanted me like that. Come to think about it, her outfit really suited her, dangerous, beautiful, naughty. Wait, where did that come from? Suddenly, Naruto heard some bushes moving, and he sensed a ninja presence nearby. So with the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto formed two clones, and while one went to see who the intruder was, the other one was sent to wake Kakashi up. Kakashi-sensei, someone's coming, said Naruto clone. I know, Naruto, stay on your guard. Got it, said the clone just before he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Kage Bunshin. Good thinking. The other Bunshin went to see what was going on, and two kunes were thrown from both sides. The clone avoided both of them and saw two mist ninjas charging at the clone, making hand seals. Suitin Suryutin no Jutsu, 2. Suddenly, two water dragons came charging Naruto clone with high speed. Since the real Naruto and Kakashi already arrived at the fight scene, Naruto released the clone, leaving no target for the dragons to hit, and they ended heading towards each one of the mist chunins, hitting them both. Seeing that both ninjas were regaining their breath, Kakashi and Naruto captured them and started asking questions. So, why were you attacking us? Inquired Kakashi, with a kunai on the first chunin's throat, starting the interrogation sequence. I won't answer anything to you, Konoha pig. I see. You have two choices and I can tell that both involve you telling me everything I want to know. First, you cooperate and answer all my questions, and I'll consider not killing you both. The second one, I'll start doing several cuts on your body until you answer. Naruto was watching Kakashi's interrogation the same way a student would watch a teacher. He was taking mental notes of what to do in these situations. "Hey you, blonde idiot, what are you smiling about?" said one of the Chuninins in an angry tone, much to Naruto's grin, thinking about a perfect argument to induce fear at the supposedly confident Chunin. "I don't think you're in the position to curse me. In case you do not know, there is a kunai no more than an inch from your neck, and you know what would happen if I did a cut around this area." Naruto pointed with the kunai, showing the mist ninja's veins as the enemy just swallowed in fright of seeing the cool voice of the blonde Chunin while almost touching the tip of the kunai at the guy's neck. "Now, since we made our point here, start answering. Why did you attack us?" said Kakashi as he started to approach the kunai more and more closer to the other guy's neck. We ain't telling you shit," said the Chunin, fighting to struggle as the kunai was near his neck, and both Kakashi and Naruto were releasing a little bit of chakra, showing some killing intent to them, scaring the hell out of them, so they cracked and started to talk. "We knew the Konoha would send help to assist the fire daimyo-san, so we guarded this place and waited for you guys to come. Our mission was to stop you from reaching the daimyo-san. So, the mist was responsible for the threats at Kenshin. Naruto, we have to keep moving, they could attack very soon." "I agree. But what will we do with these guys?" "Just knock them out and leave them. They won't be bothering us, and they won't be of help for the others who will be attacking later. So knock them out and tie them up," said Kakashi as he was turning around, only waiting for Naruto to do what he was supposed to do. "Got it," said Naruto as he hit with a chakra-infused punch at the ninjas, knocking them out and leaving them with a big headache when they wake up. Naruto and Kakashi ran like nothing before, reaching the daimyo's house in a couple of hours. At the daimyo's house. As Kakashi knocked the door to the house, Kenshin was the one who answered and was a little surprised to see Kakashi at the door with a blonde ninja's dressed just like Kakashi, but with a green vest instead of the dark one Kakashi was wearing. "Kakashi-san, what are you doing here? And who's him?" said Kenshin as he pointed to Naruto. "Greetings, Kenshin-san, we're here to protect you from the threats. And this is Naruto, Konoha Chunin," introduced Kakashi to the daimyo's son. "Ah, so you're the fourth member of Team Kakashi I heard good words about," said Kenshin as he greeted Naruto with a handshake. "Yeah, I was. But Kenshin-san, we have orders to protect you. Kakashi-sensei, judging from before, I sense that at least 4 Chunins and 2 Jounins are nearby." "I see, please Kenshin-san, go inside the house. We'll deal with the enemy. Naruto, make a clone to protect the daimyo's son inside." "Okay," said Naruto as he formed a clone and asked Kenshin to follow the clone. Kenshin-san and the Naruto clone went inside the house as 4 Mist Chunins appeared right in front of the Konoha ninjas. "What could you tell from the enemy, Naruto?" asked Kakashi as he was getting into an fighting stance. "It seems that the left one is stronger than the previous 2 we interrogated earlier. The rest of them have the same strength. So, I'll leave the Sharingan for the 2 Jounins then. Naruto, you take out the 3 and I'll take the stronger one." "Okay. Let's see if I can throw them away," said Naruto, doing some hand seals. Futon to Tapa no Jutsu. After Naruto's huge burst of wind, the 3 were separated from the stronger one, leaving Kakashi to fight him. Naruto then formed 4 Kage Bunshins and did his favorite Taijutsu combo, knocking the first one. Uzumaki Naruto Renden. Then, the other charged at Naruto with fast punches, which Naruto dodged them all and landed a kick on the stomach, making the enemy cough some blood and try to breathe heavily. Naruto was, however, caught off guard when the third one came, landing a punch on Naruto's chest, hurting him a little bit. "Nice one," said Naruto, enjoying the fight. "There is more when it came from, brat." "Okay, let's go," said Naruto, making a Kage Bunshin and focusing a big Rasengan. Idama Rasengan. The big energy ball exploded on the third enemy's chest, sending him all the way to his homeland. The second one was disoriented with the kick from earlier, so Naruto simply knocked him out, doing a strong jab on his chin. When Naruto approached Kakashi's fight, he was making some hand seals and screaming Kaiten Ryuka no Jutsu. With that, the enemy ninja screamed in pain, running away to the next river, which was at least a mile away from the location. "Kakashi-sensei, my part is done," said Naruto, communicating with Kakashi with special earplugs that transmitted conversation between the ninjas. "Mine too. Now Naruto, where are the 2 Jounins?" "They are not very far, but they aren't moving, so I guess they don't know the result of this fight. Not yet anyway." "Okay. Let's focus on resting for a little bit. What I don't know is why the mist attacking the daimyo-san. Maybe, Kenshin-san can answer that." "Yes, I can, Kakashi-san, Naruto-san. The mist knew of my diplomatic mission to Iwa, so they assumed Konoha was forming a partnership with a rock village, so they sent these ninjas to eliminate the only contact between the villages, me." "Naruto, when Tsunade-sama assigned this mission, she assigned as a B-rank mission. But regarding the fact that our enemies are high-class ninjas, this is an A rank mission, so be on your guard, those are Jounin level ninjas. I did not know that the mist would send Jounins, my apologies, Kakashi-san. Do not worry, Kenshin-san. There is only 2 Jounins. We are in equal advantage. I and Naruto can handle it. 2 against 2, right Naruto? Right, at least we are not outnumbered. We can take them. From a distance, the 2 mist Jounins concluded that the Chunins failed to assassinate the Fire Daimyo-san, so they started moving. Kakashi-sensei, they are coming. Okay, Naruto, this is the final fight. When they appear, choose one enemy and stick to him, leave me with mine. As the ninjas appeared, they came to notice the Sharingan blazing through Kakashi's eyes and knew right away that the mission wouldn't be so easy to succeed. Sharingan no Kakashi. No wonder, our Chunins were no match for them. Sakato, you take the blonde there, I want to fight the copy nin. This will be easy, said Sakato, as he was charging towards Naruto, engaging him into jutsu. But Naruto was faster and was able to took out his katana, as well as channel wind chakra through it, making a swift movement, managing to cut one of the Jounin's vest sleeves. Do not underestimate me, if you know what's good for you. Said Naruto as he got into the stance that he learned from Rikamaru, and suddenly the Mist Jounin wasn't so eager to attack Naruto. He knew that the wind slice could very well kill him if it hit right on. You'll pay for that, brat. Said the Jounin as he was proceeding to silent killing technique, making the hand seals for the Ninpu Kurigakur no Jutsu, but as the fog came, Naruto made some seals of his own, screaming Futon to Toppa no Jutsu, blowing the fog as a result of it. Sakato was beginning to move away when a huge gust wind came rushing at him, extinguishing the fog created by Sakato, as well as throwing him to a tree. That jutsu won't work against me. The wind can very well dissipate the fog, and I already saw that from Mamachi's abuser. Said Naruto as he was once again charging towards the opponent with his katana in hand. Now, you pissed me off, scum. Suiton Mizu no Tatsumaki no Jutsu. A huge water cyclone charged at Naruto, leaving him with little time to dodge the attack. Naruto knew he couldn't just dodge, because the tornado would take him, so Naruto channeled chakra throughout his feet and jumped to a couple trees, completely out of the technique's range. Seeing that Sakato was located in an open space, Naruto performed some hand seals and screamed Doten Yumi Numa no Jutsu. From out of nowhere, Sakato was trapped from the sudden growth of a swamp under him, entrapping him, leaving the opportunity to Naruto in order to finish his opponent. Seems like you're trapped, aren't you? Said Naruto as he appeared near Sakato, pissing him off so badly. Stupid brat, I'll get you for this. Argued Sakato, but he couldn't move since the more he moved, more the mud would just squeeze him tighter, making him no room to even move his finger. Naruto actually didn't know what to do with the guy, so he sent a Kage Bunshin to ask Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, I've defeated my enemy, what do I do? Said Naruto's clone as he saw the fight between his sensei and the other Jounin, waiting to ask after Kakashi kicked him and sent him flying to the forest, making him unconscious, capturing him. Good, I've already captured this one and already sent him for a Ibiki to interrogation with my nin dogs. Summon 2 medium-sized frogs so they can take the prisoner to Ibiki as well. Consider done. And the clone disappeared. He just loves the Kage Bunshin. He was able to defeat a Jounin. I actually thought I would have to help him a little, but he did it without any help from me. Smiled Kakashi. Kuchiyas no Jutsu. Next to the real Naruto appeared Gamatatsu and Gamakichi. Hey, Naruto, what's up? Greeted the 2 frogs as they appeared. Can you 2 take this man to Ibiki to interrogation for me? Asked Naruto as he addressed the toads who for their part wouldn't do anything without a proper sacrifice. Okay, how about those chocolate bars? What the hell? Again, don't you have enough of chocolate? Never. Fine, deliver him to Ibiki and I'll give you 4 chocolate bars. What about me, Naruto? You too. Fine. 4 to you too. Signed in defeat. Naruto, also wondering what the hell is so good about those damn chocolate bars the frogs happen to love so much. Actually Naruto traveled with some of it just in case the toads knocked the ninja out, then took him out of the swamp and took him to Ibiki. At the interrogation chamber in Konoha. The Konoha, Ibiki was inside his office organizing some documents when 2 puffs of smoke appeared, revealing the 2 toads that Naruto asked, carrying an unconscious Miss Jounin. Are you Ibiki-san? Asked Gamatatsu as he landed the guy on the ground. Yes, I am. What is a Miss Jounin doing here? Said Ibiki, actually twice in a day, since he also asked some ninja dogs about the other one. This ninja was captured by Uzumaki Naruto and requested a complete interrogation on this ninja the same way as the one sent by Kakashi moments ago. Said Gamatatsu as he handed the man for Ibiki. Okay, then. Daimyo's son assassination. As the toads vanished, Ibiki suddenly remembered that name and smiled, wondering how the heel Naruto was able to capture a Miss Jounin in the first place. Most impressive, indeed. At the daimyo's house. Meanwhile, near the daimyo's house, Kakashi was to give the mission report to the client, but first he needed to reach for his partner. Naruto, assemble. I'm here, Kakashi-sensei. Okay, Kenshin-san, I believe that no one will bother you anytime soon. We captured their leaders and defeated their little army. Thanks Kakashi-san, Naruto-san. Let's go Naruto, we are to meet Tsunade for report. Okay, then. Kakashi-sensei, how was your fight? Asked Naruto while jumping from tree to tree. But the Sharingan, it wasn't so difficult. The guy only used Suiton techniques, so Mirakiri did the job well. I see. And how was yours? The guy also only had Suiton techniques and he did a Kurigaku no Jutsu. But in the end, he only talked and I did the action. Since he was open and disoriented, I performed the Doton Yurinuma and trapped him for good. Good, well, what do you say we speed things up a little? Said Kakashi as he smiled while offering Naruto something he knew he would say yes to. You know I'm in favor of that exercise all the time. Said Naruto as he was beginning to channel chakra through his feet. Okay, then. Channel chakra through your feet and let's go. At Tsunade's office. The double managed to arrive at Tsunade's office in a day, being the first time Naruto was feeling tired. Tsunade was scared when she noticed that they've already came back. Report, Kakashi. Certainly, Tsunade-sama. We set camp at our first day trip and encountered two Miss Chunins, being certain that Naruto dispatched both of them. When we arrived at the daimyo's house, 4 Miss Chunins appeared and we defeated them, leaving 2 Jounins to face. Each of us bet 1 Jounin and sent them to Ibiki for interrogation. I see, mission accomplished, congratulations, you too. I already have the results of Ibiki's interrogations. Both ninjas, after Ibiki's technique, confirmed their intentions of killing the Fire Daimyo's son because they believed of a possible alliance between Iwa and Konoha. And since Kenshin was the only contact between the villages, he was the target. Kenshin was right, then. Concluded Naruto. Tsunade-sama, seeing that there were high-level ninjas as enemies, this mission would have to be an A-rank mission instead of a B1. You're right, Kakashi. I'll make the necessary arrangements. Go take some rest, you both did well. Both of them said goodbye and disappeared from the office. Meanwhile, Tsunade was beaming with happiness. Not only Naruto and Kakashi were okay, but also when a mission requested by the daimyo goes according to plan, the Fire Lord gets off her, but for a little period. Thank you Naruto, no Fire Lord craps for a week, all with least some vacation. Outside the office. Outside the office, Naruto and Kakashi were walking when both stomachs started to talk and asked for food. Hearing this, both ninjas looked at each other and smile, while Naruto had the decency to ask. Hey Kakashi, would you like to get something to eat? Actually, yes. We forgot to eat on the way back. Good. After eating, they went to sleep. The next day. Naruto woke up at 7:30 am and went to his personal training ground located on top of the Hokage mountain in order to practice Taijutsu and Kenjutsu. He pulled a scroll from his backpack and puffed his katana. After that, he started training some Kenjutsu exercises, which involved sword attack sequences and slicing objects that was being thrown by his clones. Suddenly, Kakashi appeared reading his book since he somehow knew he could find Naruto training here. Actually, he was one of the few who knew where Naruto trained at all. Most of the people he knew only saw him walking around the city and always wondered how did he get so strong since no one saw him training. Hi, Naruto, training already? Asked Kakashi but never taking his eyes off his book. Heyo, Kakashi-sensei, yeah, I'm improving my Kenjutsu style. Said Naruto while slicing every single object thrown by his clone. So, Naruto, I actually came here to talk to you about something. Something important. What is it? It's about our next mission. What about it? Niji is coming with us. It's a B-ranked mission. A criminal organization is terrorizing a small village near Konoha border. We are to go there, defeat this organization, as well as gather information about it. That's where Niji enters the plot. Why Niji? Because he happens to be trained in information gathering, as well as good fighting skills. Why do you ask? I thought Shino was better trained for this kind of situation, since he was in Kurenai's team, and Niji is in Gai's team. Yes, he would be the next choice. But, he's on a mission with his dad and won't be here when we leave. I see. Okay, so, when do we leave? Because of last night's mission, Tsunade said for us to leave the 2 p.m. So you have plenty of time to rest and pack for 2 days travel. Where is the meeting point? Konoha East Gate, 1:30 p.m. Okay. I'll be there. After training, Naruto went to his apartment and started packing his things. I wonder if Niji is mad about being hospitalized from my jutsu. Naruto, now out of the apartment, headed for the meeting point. When he got there, he saw Neji there waiting. Naruto wasn't scared of Neji, but he didn't want to deal with him in case he wanted to talk about the tornado on top of the Hokage monument. Neji, when did you arrive? A couple minutes ago. Oh, okay, so I arrived on time, but I see the Kakashi is late as usual. Said Naruto, resting in defeat from a supposed lost cause. Naruto once thought that Kakashi would never be late again since he was able to say the proper goodbye to Obito and never stepped foot close to the memorial stone. At Tsunade's office. At Tsunade's office, Kakashi and Here were discussing the contents of the mission. Since it involved some criminal organization, she was worried of any alliance between them and Akatsuki. Kakashi, be careful when approaching the target. There are rumors that this organization works directly by the orders of Akatsuki. If that is true, Naruto would be in serious danger. With all due respect, Hokage-sama, even if this is just a rumor, it would be best to send another team, then. Guy's team is equally prepared for fighting and information gathering. Kakashi knew that Naruto was stronger now, but to be at bay with the Akatsuki, he still had a long way to go. I'm aware of that, Kakashi. But the rest of Team Guy is on a mission. Apparently, Itajustu Master is attacking a village nearby, so I sent Guy and his team to stop the aggressor. If you see that Naruto would be in trouble, inform me right away. I'll send someone to assist at the battle. Okay, Tsunade-sama. Now, I must go. Dismissed. At meeting point. As Kakashi appeared at the designated spot, he managed to see that Naruto and Neji were already there, discussing about something. Aheo. Said Kakashi, appearing out of nowhere, seeing Naruto and Neji talking. Oh, Kakashi-sensei, we've been expecting you. I was just discussing with Neji about the mission. Oh, usually, criminal organizations don't have high-level ninjas. But, since they are attacking a village in the Fire Country, we'll go there and scare them away. Neji, you are going as well to help us take care of the enemies, as well as gather information on this organization. Understood. Good, let's head out. Naruto and I are to go side by side with Neji following behind in order to see if any enemies are on the area or trying to attack us. Any threats, you can let us know in advance so we can be prepared. Now, let's move. Said Kakashi as they all left with a shunshin to their destination. After a while, since no enemies were spotted, Naruto, Kakashi and Neji arrived at the place that was being attacked by the criminal organization. So, Naruto? Said Neji addressing to Naruto in a serious/wondering manner. What is it? At your Chunin exams, why didn't you fight seriously? Asked Neji, remembering about the fact that even though Naruto used a lot of high-level ninjutsu, his chakra capacity didn't show any signs of diminishing. What are you talking about? I did fight seriously. Do you actually think you can fool my Byakugan? From the entire fight, I couldn't sense any decrease in your chakra capacity. How is it possible that you fought seriously and almost no chakra were consumed? Neji, by this time, you should have known that Naruto's chakra capacity is way beyond normality. Kakashi said, joining the conversation. I already know that, but even if a ninja has large chakra capacity, even a few amount of chakra is consumed when such jutsu are used. Neji, don't you remember that time when I completed the Jounin chakra control exercise? Said Naruto, earning first glances from Neji's wide eyes, and then suddenly he started recollecting the events. It was all Neji could say before he remembered that Naruto now has 100 chakra control. The three continue talking until Neji asked about the sudden tornado that sent him to the hospital. But tell me one thing. What? Actually, Naruto was afraid of such question, since Neji could very well want answers about the tornado thing. He ended up hitting the Hyuga Jounin. That tornado that sent me to the hospital. It was you, right? Ooh, yes. Naruto replied, afraid that Neji would be mad at him. It's very powerful, you could have used it on the exam, you would pass just by using that jutsu. Neji, with that jutsu, I sent you to the hospital, just imagine what I would do to a genin. I think you're right. After some time, they stopped just in front of the village in order to set camp and start the mission. Neji, we have 1 week to accomplish this mission. Scan the area as much as you please. I and Naruto will henge as local civilians and see the village's situation. We are to meet here in a couple hours for regroup. Hi. Let's go, Naruto. Henge no jutsu. With that, Naruto and Kakashi transformed into local civilians and entered the city without people noticing anything. The city population had a strange look on their faces, it was like they were used to the sudden attacks that were happening. Neji used his Byakugan and he could see almost the entire city. He noticed a group of people inside a large building, talking. Neji concluded that there was the organization's hideout since there was some chakra presence, so he hid his chakra and went for the hideout to investigate. Once he arrived there, since his Byakugan did not consume much of his chakra, only a hypersensitive ninja would know he was near, he activated his bloodline and managed to study the whole building. The number of enemies, the hidden doors, some underground passages, how many floors. Niji managed to study the whole structure. He even managed to take a look at the leader, since he noticed to whom all the group was taking to, as well as his chakra was the strongest of them all. When the time to meet, Niji headed for their camp and found that 2 civilians were there, but with his Kekkei Genkai, he saw that they were in fact Naruto and Kakashi. So, Niji, what did you find out? I found their hideout and I managed to study its entire structure. The place is the tallest building on the southeast direction, with hidden underground passages. Inside, I managed to get a glimpse at our enemies' strength and chakra presences. Some of them don't have chakra at all, but very few of them have Chunin level chakra. Only what I assume is their leader has the highest chakra level. Well, I and Naruto took notice of what they are doing in the city. It seems that they are trying to take over the place by treating the city mayor, causing a big fuss. When they don't want to pay for food, they destroy everything. Today was just a preliminary study. Tomorrow, let's ask the citizens for information. Understood. We must rest, then. Who takes the patrol for today? I'll be doing today, and then tomorrow is Naruto's turn, then you Niji. Said Kakashi before entering his tent. Next day. On the next day, the entire group hinged to civilians and went inside to question the population. Naruto obtained the name of the organization. Kakashi obtained the date that the organization started the attacks, and Niji knew about their leader. At meeting point, on the end of the day, they exchanged information. You go first, Naruto. Okay. The organization is entitled the Red Dragon, and all its members have a ring on the left hand and use vests with a red dragon labeled on it. My turn. From a local that I asked, they started the attacks 2 weeks ago, but they only started this mayhem until 4 days. They were all this time threatening the city mayor and taking over what is now their hideout that Niji found yesterday. Okay, I managed to know who their leader is. His name is Hanzu, and he is a missing nin from Suna. Actually, he was a jounin there. He has affinities with Akatsuki, from what I heard, but I'm not 100 sure if they know what a Jinchuriki is, so we can be safe about Naruto's situation. I'm glad to hear that, actually. Now, it's not the time to run into Akatsuki, we have a mission to complete. Okay, team, we have to neutralize their entire hideout if we want to clean the city. Tomorrow, we'll enter from underground and take out most enemies with stealth. While Naruto was guarding the camp, he noticed a presence approaching their camp. He had to act fast because such person was coming real close. He dropped from the tree he was sitting into a bush, then he started walking slowly in a way as to not make noise and appear behind the enemy, who Naruto managed to see a Suna ribbon on the guy's forehead. With speed, Naruto knocked the ninja out with a blow near the neck, making the ninja to fall down. Kakashi-sensei, wake up. What is it, Naruto? I captured a Suna ninja that was approaching our camp, he is tied outside, come here. Okay. Hey Niji, wake up. I'm up, what is it? I'm outside. The team got out of the tent only to see a Suna ninja tied up to a tree with a Suna ribbon with a transversal cut on it as well, signifying that he is a missing nin. Naruto, who is he? I don't know, he was approaching here fast, so I didn't have time to call you, so I knocked him out Steelfly and tied him for interrogation. He is a missing nin, so Suna must want him. Niji said. Here is what we're going to do. Since this is a problem created by Suna missing nins, I'll write a letter to the Kazekage and tell him of the situation, as well as tell him to send a team to Konoha to take these prisoners. So, now we have to capture the Suna ninjas, not just eliminate them, said Naruto. This is one hell of an outcome. Because of Konoha's relations with Suna, we must send these missing nins to them. Concluded Kakashi. I think Gaara would be pleased to arrest these guys. And Suna, Gaara was doing his job as Kazekage when a Suna jounin came entering the room. Since losing Shukaku and almost his life, the now non-demon vessel turned to really appreciate the second chance that was given to him by Naruto, so now he is much closer to his brother and sister, as well as the fact that he tend to show a grin or two every now and then, but not losing his authority figure. Kazekage-sama, letter from Konoha copy nin Hada Kakashi. Hand it to me. Kazekage Gaara. In mission to a fire country's village, I, Naruto and Hyuga Niji, managed to find out that some missing nins from Suna were terrorizing a village in fire country. We already captured one Suna Chunin missing nin and sent him to Konoha. We'll do our best to capture the totality of missing nins that are in this village. Apparently, they formed a criminal organization called Red Dragon. We also know that the organization leader is a Suna jounin missing nin called Hanzu. Please send, in a 5-day period, a team to Konoha in order to take these prisoners. Hada Kakashi. Gaara was surprised that these ninjas would do something like that. He was infuriated to say the least because of the fact that these missing nins could very well ruin Suna's relations with Konoha. Let me Kankuro and Tamari here. Hi, Kazuki-sama, right away. 10 minutes later, Gaara's brothers went inside the room. You called us, Gaara? Yes. Konoha Jounin Hada Kakashi found some Suna missing nins attacking one of their villages. He, along with Naruto and Hyuga Neji, will try to arrest all of them and send to Konoha. Please, you two, form a team and head to Konoha in 5 days to deal with these criminals. At Konoha. The second hawk arrived at Konoha and the letter was given to Tsunade by Shizune. What is it, Shizune? A letter from Kakashi-san. Tsunade-sama. In our mission, we found out that the organization is formed with Suna missing nins. We'll try to capture them and send to Konoha to guard them until Gaara's team arrives. I've already sent a letter to Gaara explaining the situation. For your knowledge, I request that Gaara send a team to recover their prisoners in 5-day time. This is enough time for us to capture them and send them to Konoha. Hada Kakashi. This will improve our relations with Suna. Shizune, contact Ibiki. Tell him to make space for some Suna missing nins. The next day, Team Kakashi went to the doorway that led to the organization hideout and entered. Kakashi-sensei, how will we transport all the Suna ninjas and finish the mission? I can't believe that you out of all people don't know how to do this. After all, it's your favorite jutsu. Said Kakashi as he was smiling in a sadistic way since he wanted for some time take a picture of Naruto's exhaustion. What do you mean? Cage Bunshin? Screamed Naruto thinking about his ex-sensei and now surrogate Itauto's sadistic way of thinking. Precisely after capturing each one, we have to secure that they won't escape, so we have to tie them all. Easier said than done, Kakashi Neji said. How many can you see with your Byakugan? Right now, there are 20 scattered all over the floors. There is 20 Bunshins for you, Naruto. But, the difference now is that you cannot dispel them, make the clones as security guards of the Suna captured. It looks I have no choice, then. No, you don't, Kakashi laughed. When they reached the end of the passage and the doorway to the building, Neji found only 2 ninjas guarding the entrance. Kakashi and Naruto opened the door and knocked them down with superior speed, and Naruto started his Cage Bunshin sequence, and 2 Narutos appeared. The clones carried the Suna ninjas outside and tied them together on a tree, standing as guards, until the real Naruto said so. 3 more were walking on the right direction, so Naruto, Kakashi and Neji took care of one, and again Naruto made 3 Bunshins. Kakashi, will Naruto be able to hold 20 clones? I sure hope so. Said Kakashi, smiling at Naruto, who was giving killing intent looks at Kakashi. In the next room, there were 5 Suna ninjas, so they had to divide the group by calling some attention. Naruto summoned his katana and hit the wall, making a sound that reached the Suna ninjas. The plan worked and 3 ninjas decided to see what the sound is. From out of nowhere, Naruto, Neji and Kakashi knocked them out and again Naruto made 3 clones. 12 more to go, Naruto. You can make clones, as well, Kakashi-sensei. A little help is nice. If the situation asks for it, I will. Like hell you will, you sadistic prick. Thought Naruto. Neji entered the room quickly and hit some tenketsus, disrupting just the necessary chakra for the ninjas to pass out, and again, 2 more clones from Naruto. By the 19th and last ninja, before the boss, Naruto's 19th clone was barely made, as Naruto went down to one knee, because of the fatigue of holding 19 clones. Naruto, take this. It's a soldier pill. You'll need this for the big boss. Thanks Kakashi-sensei said Naruto almost passing out. With Naruto now 100, they entered the room where the Suna Jounin was sitting on the center of it. Neji, here is the plan. I'll go behind them and pull a kunai at his neck, you hit his tenketsus. Got it. Behind the Jounin's seat, Kakashi appeared putting Naruto's katana right close to the neck area, warning him not to make a move or else. Neji went with great speed and did his jutsu, hitting 64 of his tenketsu points, knocking him down for good. Naruto did the last clone to carry the Jounin out of the hideout. Neji, can you find any other ninja in the premises? No. There are only criminals, now. Good, then, let's take care of them quickly. Let's go. With every thug taken care of, all 3 went outside and found 20 Narutos guarding all the Suna ninjas. Kakashi-sensei, can I dispel the clones? Let me think. How are you now, Naruto with the soldier pill? I'm 100, why? Can the clones travel with us to Konoha? It's possible. But if they wake up, I won't be able to hold them from escaping. Let's put 1 extra clone for each ninja, then. After, Kakashi made 20 clones, and Konoha's new army headed back to Konoha. At Konoha. When they arrived in Konoha, the guards were surprised to see the scene of 20 Narutos, 20 Kakashis and Neji carrying 20 Suna ninjas. Hey Katetsu, could you call Tsunade-sama to send someone to collect these ones, please? Asked Kakashi, almost exhausted. Hi, Kakashi. 2 minutes later, appears Tsunade and a class of academy students to carry all the ninjas, with the assistance of 3 Jounins to Konoha jail cells. Kakashi, Naruto, Neji, good job. The Genins will carry them to their cells. Oh, great. Said Naruto and Kakashi, almost fainting on the ground. Tsunade-sama, I have to go to the hospital immediately, I cannot hold myself, said Naruto, almost fading from the extreme exercise. I'm with Naruto on this one, Tsunade-sama. Hitetsu and Neji, please carry them to the hospital. Hi, Hokage-sama. At the hospital. The next day, Kakashi and Naruto opened their eyes only to see that they were at the hospital. Once the nurse noticed, she summoned Tsunade and she appeared right away with Shizune, Temari and Kankoro. Good. Both of you woke up. You don't need to tell me. Neji filled me up with the mission. As we're speaking, Suna is traveling with the prisoners to their village. Actually, Suna's policies with missing nins are different, we don't care to judge them, if they're dead we're satisfied. But, since you guys captured them all, it's fine as well. Said Temari, smiling at the sight of the one who saved her brother from Shukaku and now was capturing Suna missing nins. Well, I prefer not to take any chances. I didn't know anything about them, better capture them than kill them and regret it. Said Kakashi, earning nods of approval from the Wind Kunoichi, while Naruto was being reprimanded for such carelessness regarding his chakra capacity, or the lack of it being the case. Naruto, just because you have an enormous chakra capacity, does not mean you can do something like that. Kakashi almost fainted and he is a jounin. Lectured Tsunade, earning annoyed looks from Naruto who mentally was beating Kakashi to death since the whole ordeal was his damn idea. Don't blame me, it was this lazy bum right here who gave the idea, I just complied. Said Naruto, making everyone giggle at the interaction between teacher and student and for Tsunade to put her hands on her forehead massaging her temples, wondering if Naruto would eventually give her a heart attack. I resent that, Naruto. My plan actually worked and besides I didn't see you give any ideas. Now did you? Replied Kakashi as he continued to read his Bible, needless to say more about it, much to Tsunade and Temari's disgust at hearing Kakashi's porn giggles that resembled like the pervert for a Sanin Jiraiya. Okay, Naruto, but next time, try to assess better the situation so not to suffer from chakra depletion again, okay? Yeah, I know, thank you. Haha, laughed Naruto much to the surprise of Tsunade, he is happier now than ever, that's a relief. At Tsunade's office. After a little while, Tsunade went to her office so to look for Naruto's next mission, which involved document retrieval with the assistance of another jounin, since Kakashi was out of duty until his chakra was back in business. Kakashi was suffering deeply since he ended up using the Sharingan and would have to stay out of this mission, so to recover 100. Next day. As Naruto and Kakashi were released from the hospital, Kakashi with the help of Naruto was taken to his apartment so to sleep all day long. As Naruto was going to his apartment in order to rest as well, a Chunin appeared saying that Tsunade requested his presence at her office, probably for another mission. At Tsunade's office. Already inside her office, Naruto stood before the Hokage and Shizune while the first one was revising some document. Apparently, an Anbu mission encountered some missing nins from Iwa and suffered some casualties. Nothing fatal but troubling, but since Naruto was there, she decided to just pass him his next mission and then handle the Anbu situation. So Naruto, since Kakashi will be out of active duty for another day, your mission will be with another jounin of my choosing. The mission is an A-ranked mission and it involves Orochimaru in a way. You see, the bastard had a thing for Kenjutsu and he happened to gather quite a few of them throughout the shinobi countries and put it inside a scroll. Said scroll is located inside one of his old bases. This information was given by Jiraiya's informant and so is not to be taken lightly. Even though the base is old and inhabited, they were information that Orochimaru put some jounin level ninja to protect the base from secrets and stuff. Any questions? Just one, who will be my partner in this mission? Asked Naruto, but regretted when he saw the smirk of Tsunade's face and that itself meant trouble. She personally requested missions regarding the Snake Sanin. I'm pretty sure you know who said person is, don't you, Naruto? As a matter of fact I do, said Naruto, since the one person who ended up requesting mission regarding the Snake Sanin could be only one person, the one who pretty much was passing through his head even before the mission information with Tsunade, the one who looked Naruto as if she was looking at a piece of meat. The one and only Mitarashi Anko. Naruto woke up the next day, thinking about the mission with a so-called snake mistress that happened to be invading his constant thinking since the second part of the Chunin exams. As he got through the morning ritual, he turned to pack for the somewhat long-term mission, being the situation the most frightening for Naruto, the reason being to be alone with the Mitarashi Anko, and if Kakashi was right, Naruto was certain that the mission would be far from boring or annoying. The look Naruto received from the Takebetsu jounin back at the Chunin exams was filled with second intentions, and he knew from Kakashi what she's capable of if given the chance. But Naruto was caught wondering about what would be like, actually to a point that he kind of enjoyed thinking about it. Another thing Naruto was thinking was the age difference. She is 25 years old and Naruto was 16, 9 years of difference. Why would a jounin like herself want with a recently promoted chunin? For sure, he knew that he showed to her something she wasn't expecting, which, assumed Naruto, was the main cause of Anko's looking directly at his eyes the way she did. Little to Naruto's knowledge, Anko actually was drooling over the chunin's appearance, thus the fact that somehow Naruto just practically exhaled gusts of experience from his body. To Anko, she felt that Naruto was 10 years older. Those aspects did to Anko what every fangirl had with Sasuke. As he got out of his house, he went to the meeting point that the Hokage told him to get to. But Anko for her part also did her morning routine. She was pondering on the mission, since it involved Orochimaru, her late sensei and the one who practically ruined her life for good. After she was rescued by the Anbu searching squad some time ago, she was transformed into a sadistic person, gaining snake-like personalities, hence the fact that she cut Naruto's cheek once and used her tongue to taste Naruto's blood like a reptile, before devouring his enemy. As she was finished dressing, she remembered her partner on this mission, the one and only Uzumaki Naruto. Now, the blonde chunin certainly was an enigma to her. Just 3 years ago, he was an obnoxious brat who didn't know how to settle down. Now, Naruto changed in a way that she was actually having troubles viewing that the new Naruto, who she believed was strong, determined, experienced, was once the little brat that literally got into her nerves quite easily. But also there was the feeling she couldn't let go of it. It started when she sensed that strong yet extremely sad aura emanating through the village. She still wasn't sure it was the Gaki, but somehow inside her, she didn't need to look for other clues or facts. She knew that the aura was being emanated from Naruto, and besides Anko did manage to certify the aura's bloody red color to Anko was actually worse than poison, since even though it not attack the body directly, it attacks the one part which makes us human, the heart. At the Dango place. Anko arrived at the Dango place, which is where she wanted to meet her co-workers when on missions. This place was her sanctuary, her place in Konoha. Dango was the only thing capable of changing her mood completely. Every time, after a tough mission, she came almost wanting to cut some flesh and managed to get out with a smile practically visible through her face features. To sum it up, Dango to Anko was like ramen to Naruto. As she ordered the usual, which consisted on a portion of dango and tea, sake at night, she noticed that someone arrived to place. But said person wasn't just anyone, said person had blonde hair, deep and exhilarating blue eyes, and the most noticeable and indistinguishable feature fox-like whisker marks, now much defined than ever, giving him an air of an untamable beast, which make Anko smile, simply because such a feral look actually turned her on. For Naruto's part, as he arrived, he noticed the person that was pretty much renting his thoughts since the Chunin exams. Mitarashi Anko. As he was walking towards her direction, he turned to study her features. Naruto was secretly seizing her up, and he got to admit, she was so damn beautiful. Everything about her was just wonderful. Her hair, her devious smiles, which Naruto realized that they were the same since back at the Chunin exams, the way she dresses was simply amazing. Her trench coat and Anbu leg protectors gave her the look of remarkable and well-respected seasoned Anbu Kunoichi, and the damn naughty features managed to put Naruto into a frenzy state for a second. Deception was indeed a ninja's great asset, and if Naruto still showed that he was looking at her like that, she would discover the whole ordeal, which was something he didn't want. Already calming himself, he managed to see such a smile being formed, and he could do only thing play the same game. Seeing the lack of need of prolonging the looking confrontation, Anko turned to speak to the blonde Chunin by addressing him quite differently. It seems you're late there, Foxy. I arrived here a couple minutes ago and already ordered. Naruto for his part, after hearing the way Anko just called him, entered in thinking mode. Foxy, what's up with that weight? That sound very good. What's with the Foxy thing now, Anko-san? Asked Naruto, trying to sound as professional as possible, but Anko smiled seeing that he seemed to enjoy the nickname, which came as a surprise to her, considering the fact the Nine Tails should be a those subject for her, just as her cursed seal and the snake Sannin, but to her surprise, he was smiling at the name. What, you did like it, didn't you? I can see in your eyes that you liked it. Well, I did like it, but it's the first time I heard though, no big deal. Said Naruto, still smiling towards the snake mistress. After that, he ordered some dango for him, which earned a question look from Anko from seeing Naruto not eating other than ramen, but when she questioned him about it, he said that he didn't always eat ramen like he did in the past. But later Anko learned that the real reason Naruto only ate ramen was because old man Tucci was the only one who charged him fairly and even gave him free meals on occasions. After a quick shared meal, both ninjas passed the south gate in direction to Orochimaru's last hideout in order to retrieve the document containing forbidden jutsu studies, therefore, completing their assigned mission. Well, by seeing both of their faces, it was quite comical to realize that no one wanted to say the first words, and also both of them were somewhat blushing, which could pretty much guess that inside, each of them would imagine the other naked or doing something arousing to say the least. Anko, being the pervert that she was, sometimes in private, sometimes just to tease her friends, was imagining Naruto naked massaging her neck with extreme efficiency, thus whispering some dirty talk through her ear. Naruto for his part was actually having some perverted ideas as well, hence the fact that during his travel with Jiraiya, he tried to read one. Naruto's mind was imagining making out with her quite passionately while ripping each other's clothes, pretty much letting the hormones take its course. Since Naruto was slightly ahead of her, none of them could spot the other's nosebleed at the thought. The ninjas would have to face a 3-day travel, so silence wouldn't help at all. They would get nervous on the mission and it wouldn't be recommended. This idea passed through their minds as well, but the first image on their heads just didn't vanish, so in result no one could turn and initiate a conversation. Anko was top of all, feeling somewhat strange. She never felt in such a way towards a man, and all those times she came to tease everyone, she did as a way to scare the hell out of people by thinking of her sadistic nature, which existed, but not in the way she showed when teasing people. The blonde in front of her was causing such reaction on her, and she was starting to worry about it. The last time she let a man be welcome to her life, she got the curse seal as a result and became known as the snake lover, snake bitch, snake slut. Every bad nickname people could associate with snake, she would be called by it. She just didn't want to be betrayed again. Now scratch that, she couldn't live to feel the same way again. Since that day, the curse seal was a very well reminder of how much she suffered that day. Finally, after 2 hours of jumping and not saying anything, which was irritating both of them, since no one apparently was able to form an actual sentence, let alone open his or her mouth so that a word could manifest through it. Finally, Anko was able to talk, silently thanking the mission for providing at least professional conversation between the two of them. "It's getting dark, let's set out camp for today, Foxy," said Anko, still looking forward, not knowing if she was doing that to avoid eye confrontation or something else. "Okay, then," said Naruto, letting out his breath that he was somewhat holding in anticipation over being alone with such a woman. Sure, Anko was beautiful, to Naruto she was more than that, but now they would be alone with each other, and he was slightly nervous, practically feeling like on a date. After they stopped, each of them set for the specific tasks. Anko stopped to fix the tent, while Naruto was in charge of collecting wood and picking some water near a river a few miles from the place they stopped. As Anko finished with the tent, Naruto appeared with some wood for fire and a full water bucket for them, dropping them on the floor between 2 logs, being perfect for camping issues, and they didn't need to sit on the floor. Since Naruto did not know Kaiten Jutsus, he turned to Anko if she would be so kind as to light the fire for them. Anko for her part was shocked that now famous Uzumaki Naruto didn't know any Kaiten Jutsu, and when she asked why he didn't learn one, seeing that Kaiten element is Fire Country's landmark. Little did she know that Naruto's answer would cause her to see him with different eyes. Even though Kaiten Jutsu is on the list to learn eventually, having a stronger affinity for Fueton and weaker affinity with Suiton pretty much made me unique throughout Konoha, with only Sarutobi Asuma other than me being a wind user, said Naruto, smiling with pride in his eyes because of his rare affinities. Anko, after hearing the exquisite answer from Naruto, smiled understanding. Elements such as wind were rare to appear in Konoha, and right now only 2 ninjas were wind users, Naruto and Asuma, so because of it, such abilities were feared because of little to no knowledge on how to beat a wind user. But she remembered that he did wish to learn Kaiten Jutsus, so she decided to teach him, not only to improve his jutsu arsenal, but also to spend some time with a guy who, by the way, keeps sending naughty images through her head, not that she minded though, being who she is. As they were talking, Anko was beginning to feel hypnotized by the beauty of his deep blue eyes. Normally she didn't like the regular uniform of Konoha, but strangely, she thought it suited him well, and since the rubber blouse stuck to his body, Anko could very well spot his muscles and toned body under it. But what intrigued her to no end was how a guy like him could change so much. It seemed like yesterday that he was this annoying kid with a happy smile, and now this naughty powerful man. "Say, Foxy, how did you manage to change so much in such a short period of time?" asked Anko, waiting to know more of the blonde fox. "Well, it all started when I, Sakura and Anbu captain codenamed Yamato, was returning from a mission involving the Uchiha's retrieval. The mission was a complete failure, and everyone in the team was blaming me for everything. A certain person appeared, changing the mission's course entirely, and I ended up channeling the Kyuubi's chakra in order to fight the guy. To sum it up, all I did was get tired and wasn't much help with the rest of the mission. Actually, I was carrying the hate of almost everyone in Konoha mistreating me and underestimating me. Once Yamato and Sakura blamed me for everything, that was the slap in the face I needed to wake up and realize that I needed to get stronger and not depend on the Kyuubi. Anko was listening intently the mission description and wondering why the hell they blamed him for the mission failure. She knew that certain shinobis could actually go toe-to-toe with a Jinchuriki, but to imagine an Anbu captain like Yamato blaming him, it was ridiculous. But she chose not to go through with such mission, since Naruto seemed pretty down about it, so she just let him talk. After that, I requested time to practice for the Chunin exams so that I could train with my affinities and cover some areas I was having trouble with. For the third part, Kakashi-sensei taught me some Doton techniques and Kenjutsu together with a friend of his from Anbu. Anko, after hearing this, was surprised to say the least. Images from his fight at the Chunin exams now were showing inside her head. I see, that fight was pretty amazing at the Chunin exams, Foxy. Now, you're a Chunin, a very handsome one as well, then what? Anko and Naruto continued their conversation with Naruto sharing the reason why he wanted to become a part of Anbu's special forces, and to say that Anko was surprised, it was an understatement. When Naruto told her that he wanted to be below the curtains, protecting Konoha with the Anbu mask, she was trying to remember the very same person aspiring to be Hokage like 3 years ago. But after he explained why, Anko understood that because of Naruto's burden, he wouldn't have the respect or the admiration that came with the Hokage position. In fact, Anko understood that most than anyone, because of her damn curse seal. Anko knew she was knowing Naruto like he was inside. Naruto was still remembering those days when he was cursed by everyone that made contact with him, but differently from before, Naruto was smiling instead of being angry, scaring Anko a little bit. Mental stability was tough to maintain after seeing some things, and Anko knew very powerful shinobis dead by becoming mentally unstable. But after looking intently at the blonde, she relaxed, knowing that the Kyuubi inside him made him see worse than anyone, and if he survived until now, it would be very unlikely that any event would make him unstable. After a while, Anko realized that if they didn't rest, tomorrow would be one hell of a time to do the mission. So, she decided to call it a day and say Naruto, good night. Anko couldn't sleep. She knew she had feelings for the fox, but it was something more. Her feelings for him were getting stronger. Naruto opened his heart for her and showed her what a true ninja is. Deep inside, she wanted to be close to him that night. Being the straightforward that she is, she went to see how he was doing. When she arrived at Naruto's tent, she was surprised to see that Naruto couldn't sleep as well. When she asked, he smiled saying that he was wondering about their talk a few minutes ago and the fact that when he was talking, he felt like Anko could understand what he went through. I think we had similar pasts, Naruto. I presume you already know about Orochimaru and myself. Anko then got to talk about her troubled past for the first time since the Sandaime, and she was feeling much lighter as the time went by. Naruto understood everything and right now was seeing Anko differently. Gone was the sadistic bitch who seemed to enjoy the view of blood coming out of flesh wounds. This Anko was the fragile Anko who didn't want to come close to anyone, fearing that just like her sensei, she would be betrayed yet again. After she shared her past and the way she coped with all of it, she turned to ask him how did he came in terms with such a horrible past. With time, I guess. I was born alone. The orphanage was hell for me, even when Sandaime bought me an apartment, my life wasn't any different. But after some time, I stopped asking myself as to why I was hated. After I managed to graduate from the academy, Iruka-sensei and Kakashi-sensei pretty much saved me from myself, teaching me that not everyone behaved like that. Then Jiraiya, even though the old bastard didn't taught him anything, doesn't mean that he didn't befriend him, Shikamaru, Tsunade-sama and Niji. They became close friends of mine. And now you said Naruto, smiling towards the snake mistress, earning a look of surprise from her. What about me, Foxy? I don't know why, but it seems that I can't stop thinking of you, Anko-san, since our encounter at the second part of the Chunin exams, I was caught wondering about you. Now that we are talking, I can't stop thinking how much we have in common, and such feelings I have for you is different from the others. Said Naruto, now looking down so as to wonder the repercussion of such words towards Anko, but unbeknownst to him, Anko was actually feeling the same way towards him. Is that a fact, Foxy? Is it possible that you have feelings for little old me? I'm flattered. You do realize that I am almost 10 years older than you, right? Asked Anko, teasing the blonde on the outside, but on the inside was in turmoil. She thought about him constantly, but the problem was the age gap, she didn't want to fall for him just for age to come bite her in the ass, saying that such things do not intend to happen. It doesn't matter to me that you are older than me, you've been in my mind constantly, and we have so much in common. Mumbled Naruto, earning one of the first genuine smile coming from Anko that even she didn't remember the last time she smiled like that. The reason was simple. Anko wanted to be with him, but she was afraid that Naruto wouldn't like her because of the age. Foxy, I'm going to let you on a little secret. I happen to love Whisker Mark, said Anko, initiating the teasing competition between her and the #1 prankster of Konoha. Oh really, Anko-chan, I got to say you don't look so bad yourself, Anko-san. said Naruto, showing his evolved prankster side, which to experienced teaser like Anko, it meant like you're hot. I gotta tell you Naruto, that new looks of yours really suited you. Actually Foxy, I feel very lonely on my tent, so you wouldn't mind if I sleep here with you, would you? I'd like the company, you know. Sure, but I'm not responsible for what happened, said Naruto, smiling deviously, turning her on a little bit. Anko for her part was enjoying the teasing immensely. She never found anyone who could tease her just as much as she teased him, and that very fact alone earned some more perverted images inside her head. Tell you what, Naruto-kun, when we come back, we'll have some good time together. Sounds good to me Anko-chan, I'm actually looking forward to it. Now, let's rest a little bit, we have a timetable, and if we speed things a little, we can have an early date. Said Naruto, lying down with Anko following him before nodding in approval of his idea. Naruto and Anko had their best sleep ever in their lives and woke up a little late. On the next day, the sun was sending a wake-up call to the sleeping couple by illuminating inside Naruto's tent. They didn't want to think of waking up and pass the moment they were giving. Naruto was sleeping with face looking up and Anko was lying on Naruto's chest and a smile could be seen from a great distance on her face. Even though Anko had a different thing in mind for the blonde, she enjoyed a lot sleeping with him, which proved that this wouldn't be a one-night stand. Quite the opposite, in fact. Unfortunately for them, they had to wake up because of the mission. Since Naruto woke up first, he went outside to prepare some breakfast. After some time, Naruto came with a bottle of water inside the tent, but when he entered he came upon a scene of a happy sleeping Anko. She must be dreaming about something nice, I wonder if it's me. Anko for her part was dreaming about her and Naruto near wave country, just lying down on the beach, enjoying the time spent together. When the sunlight entered her tent, she woke up feeling somehow better, it was like she slept the whole day, even though they only slept for 3 hours. Anko was lying down thinking about what just happened. The cuddling, his chest was so warm and cozy. Anko was remembering a specific fact when they were sleeping, that Naruto's arm was hugging her and she felt comfortable in his arms. A few moments later with breakfast taken, both packed their things and started jumping from trees to trees. They were a little bit behind schedule, nothing like Naruto's little exercise to help things out a little. Foxy, we have to speed things up a little if we are to arrive there on time. Don't worry Anko-chan, I have an idea. It's something I used to get to the tower at the second part of the Chunin exams. What is it? Asked Anko, now amused with the fact that Naruto's team beat the old record the Suna siblings made 3 years ago. Chakra-enhanced jumping. It's very simple really. For every 2 hours traveling, the next half an hour we channel chakra on our feet and increase speed dramatically. Kakashi-sensei said to only use this exercise when your team or partner have the same amount of chakra as my own. Due to the fact that you're a jounin, I don't think you'll have trouble doing that. It's also a very good exercise for chakra control and raise the ninja's chakra capacity. Said Naruto, making Anko question if Naruto was actually mentally unstable since birth. Yes, if the ninja don't pass out from chakra exhaustion. Both of them were traveling for 2 hours, they did just what Naruto said, doubling their speed. After half an hour, they managed to cover almost the entire distance, stopping only 10 miles away to rest for the day. Anko wasn't as strong as Kakashi, so this simple exercise was exhausting for her. Foxy haha let's rest, I have to lie down. Said Anko, cursing Naruto's stamina. Okay, we managed to arrive at our destination, I can see the entrance. I'll fix the tent for us. Said Naruto, earning Anko's smile, since Naruto also liked their cuddling and possibly his little hand reaching sensitive places. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Anko was watching with pleasure, the 5 Narutos settling everything, and she remembered the time when Yumi no Iruka said about Naruto's class of graduates. Flashback on. Anko, an experienced Chunin, was found talking to Yumi no Iruka after the Rookie 9's team assembling. So, Iruka, tell me about these new rookies. Anko-san. Well, Uchiha Sasuke seems to be the strongest with most knowledge about jutsus. Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino, it's hard to tell because they always chase after Sasuke. Hyuga Hinata is smart but very shy. Aburame Shino is very reserved, but he is very smart. Nara Shikamaru is the most intelligent of them all, and Inyazuka Kiba has the energy peculiar to his clan. Last but not least, there is Uzumaki Naruto. He didn't graduate at first, but after Mizuki's little plan to use the boy to steal the Forbidden Scroll, Naruto saved me using a technique far greater than the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Far greater? What do you mean? I didn't know he could do Kage Bunshin, and I don't know a better clone technique than the Kage Bunshin. Yeah, the jutsu is called Taiju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. With it, Naruto managed to create a huge army of approximately 200 Narutos and managed to beat Mizuki down to a pulp. Are you serious? Screamed Anko very surprised. Flashback off. When the tent was set, the clones were dispelled and both ninjas went inside to get some sleep. Anko was settling her head in Naruto's chest, feeling the same thing she felt the first time. Before going to sleep, Anko started making conversation with the blonde shinobi. "Hey Foxy, what do you think a perfect woman would be?" asked Anko before seeing Naruto entering in a thinking pose. "Oh, let me think. The perfect woman for me would have to be strong, determined, self-confident and beautiful. Hair colors, eyes. I am not that selective about women." Anko after hearing this, got what she wanted to hear. She was thinking about kissing him, but she was not that initiative, but what Naruto said pretty much shot all her willpower to wait some time and she couldn't hold herself anymore. Anko started looking at his face with amusement. With her hands, she started to caress his whisker marks with very soft hands, earning a smile from Naruto. Naruto for his part, at first was questioning her intentions, but when she hit that spot, he forgot everything and simply closed his eyes appreciating Anko's hands immensely. Anko couldn't help but smile upon seeing this. A very powerful shinobi with a demon inside of him could have such a strange weakness and a very cute one according to her. She was mesmerized upon seeing him such at ease with himself. After a while, she stopped caressing and waited patiently for him to open his blue eyes. After he slowly opened his eyes and mumbled a little moan from the caressing, Naruto was surprised when Anko landed her lips with his in a very passionate kiss. After the initial shock, Naruto returned the kiss and with his hands, he started to caress her face, as well as her neck finding her weak spot, the area near the curse seal. When he passed his hands at the curse mark, he noticed Anko shivering in delight, making his perverted mind work and move his lips to where the curse seal was and started licking the area with passion. Anko instantly felt an immense wave of pleasure filling her body and started to moan Naruto's name in such a soft and naughty voice that could make any men pass out from nosebleed. At this moment, Anko relaxed her body in a way as to show Naruto that she was his to do what she wanted to do with her. But what Naruto whispered close to her ear, she thought she was going to have an orgasm. "No, Anko-chan, remember the pact we made. Even though I would like take you right here right now, when we arrive Konoha, it will be so much better, I can assure you." "Oh Kami, this is so good. This guy amazes me to my very soul. He's only 16 and the way he talks, I'm losing my mind right now, oh Kami. He's right, when we arrive, it will be so much better. Okay Foxy, let's rest for tomorrow. I can't wait for us to go home and," said Anko, but stopped instantly thinking of Naruto on top of her moaning close to her ear while taking advantage on her nude body. Next day. On the next day, both of them packed and went to complete their mission. Naruto used his ability to sense as much as he could of ninjas guarding the late hideout. After a little search, Naruto managed to find 5 Odo nins, being 2 guarding the entrance and the rest just inside. "Foxy, can you take those 2 guarding the entrance?" "Yeah, I can. But near them, there are 3 ninjas, we have to be careful," said Naruto, now entering in mission mode. "Take those 2 and I'll take care of them." With that, Naruto drew his sword and hid his chakra so not to be detected. He ran with great speed to the side of the ninjas and attacked them both with the katana, knocking them out. Anko, as Naruto took care of the first ones, jumped right through the entrance and sent her snakes to kill the 3 others inside, getting rid of 2 instead. The third one hid himself and attacked behind Anko. Seeing that the Odo nin would kill Anko for sure, Naruto channeled chakra on his feet, jumped with great force, and impaled his katana through the enemy, killing him for good. "Thanks, Foxy, you saved my life back there," said Anko before becoming wide-eyed with what she saw. Next to her, Naruto was looking forward, but what scared her most were his eyes. Somehow, Naruto's eyes became a darker blue, and it was even more hypnotizing than before. Anko didn't know who he was, but he wasn't the Naruto she knew, this one looked like an Anbu captain. "Anko-chan, do not underestimate the enemy," said Naruto showing a mix of emotions, more like fear of losing her and fear of losing a teammate. "I've never seen these eyes before. He's even more serious than before. When I look at him, I don't see Naruto, I see someone else. This new ninja is even more powerful, it's like he transformed, he is focused purely on the mission and his teammates. Just who the hell is this guy, is he even human?" "Anko-chan, let's get moving," ordered Naruto, making Anko forget that she was the one responsible for the mission. She forgot that she was a jounin while he was just a chunin, such as how much terrified of him she was. Naruto resembled the figure of a fierce leader who was a powerful ally to his friends and the enemy's worst nightmare. "Oh okay." With that, Naruto ran to the next hallway and passes through a door where 2 ninjas were located and screamed Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto made 2 clones that took care of the ninjas with advanced jutsu and a kunai on the hand. Anko went on the other hallway, since they decided to split up and cover more ground. She spotted 3 more ninjas and made some hand seals Katen Housenka no Jutsu, fire style. Mythical Firebird Jutsu. Anko spilled fireballs to every direction, hitting all the 3 guard in the face, burning the hell out of it. Naruto then found 4 more guards and attacked, making hand seals Doton Doryuiden no Jutsu, Earth style. Mud Dragon Jutsu. With that, a dragon head emerged throwing mud balls at the Oto nins who didn't have time to react and took the attack straight at the stomach. As Naruto continued moving, he sensed Anko's presence approaching as well as another strong presence as well. After taking care of the guards, Naruto and Anko came upon the vault that seemed to have the document they were searching for. Anko tried to open using some of her previous knowledge, but found that such vault was strange, since there was no lock. Seeing that the answer would be to destroy it, Naruto called her to step aside and made a little Rasengan to act like a power drill. A huge noise was caused by Naruto's technique made contact and caused a big hole on the vault, showing all the documents inside. All seemed pretty useless, except for a black envelope that contained a seal to open. Anko did the necessary hand seal and opened the envelope. The document's title shown Kinjutsu. The Konoha. 3 days later, the hidden couple arrived at Tsunade's office so as to present a report for her. Anko, being the one in charge, handed the black envelope to the Hokage and gave her the report. Mission accomplished, Hokage-sama. Here is the document you requested. Reported Anko. Good job. What a jerk that Orochimaru, always messing around with forbidden techniques. Congratulations, both of you get 1 day off. Hi, Hokage-sama. Said Naruto, vanishing in a little tornado using Futon Shunshin no Jutsu, wind style. Body flicker jutsu. However, Anko decided to talk to the Hokage about Naruto's transformation during the mission. Tsunade-sama, may I talk with you about Naruto-kun? Said Anko, now realizing that she added the kun added to his name, much to Tsunade's suspicion. Sure. What is it? Said Tsunade, wondering about the way Anko addressed Naruto. When we were inside the hideout, his eyes were different than before. I don't know why, but when the mission started, Naruto was well another person, it was like I was following his orders instead of me being the one in charge. Anko, Naruto changed in a lot of things. Kakashi said so himself. Get some sleep, rest a bit. I'll see you in 2 days. Said Tsunade, dismissing Anko before pondering about what Anko saw on Naruto's eyes that she was frightened about it. Tsunade was actually wondering what exactly could frighten Anko, seeing that she was the one who pretty much scared anyone. But Naruto. On their day off, Naruto was walking on the streets in order to get something to eat. He was angry because Ichiraku's was closed, so he had to look for a place to eat. Naruto remembered meeting Anko near a dango place, so he decided to go there. When he arrived, he felt Anko's presence and smiled. It seems like we meet again, Anko-chan, said Naruto, entering the restaurant. When he entered, he spotted the purple-haired Kunoichi drinking some tea with 2 dangos on the plate. I was wondering when I would ever see you again. Well, if it isn't the hot fox. Came to pay me a visit. Said Anko, smiling deviously towards Naruto. Naruto and Anko shared their meal together, as well as some pervert conversation that resembled Jiraiya's most perverted thoughts. At that time, Tsunade, Shizune and Sakura were resting from their medical training and went for some dango, only to spot Naruto and Anko talking in a very close manner. When seeing, Sakura immediately blushed, realizing the content of the conversation. It seemed that Naruto learned some things with Jiraiya, after all. Said Shizune. Some things sure, but that's all Naruto. Tsunade confirmed. Why is he with Anko? Asked Sakura, feeling jealous of the purple-haired jounin. Naruto for his part had already sensed the 3 girls approaching and smiled a bit. Seeing that Naruto was smiling, Anko turned to ask what was it, just for him to say that they would be having an interesting company. After hearing who were them, Anko smiled as well, understanding her role at Naruto's perverted prank that he and Anko was about to show them. Hokage-sama, you came to pay a visit to me or Naruto? Shouted Anko, never looking at the Hokage, trusting Naruto's chakra signature perception. How did you notice me, Anko? Asked Tsunade, with some amusement, since only Naruto could do such a thing. Actually, Foxy here sensed you guys and said to me. Said Anko, earning wide eyes from the 3 medic nins. Now, Sakura, why are you staring at me like that? Jealous, are you? Jealous that I'll have Foxy here all to myself. Whispered Anko in a mischievous smile, earning a smile from Naruto and blush from the 3 medic nins, from realizing what they were about to do. So, Anko-chan, come on, let's go. It was great seeing you, Tsunade-sama, Shizune-nichan, Sakura. Said Naruto, before enveloping Anko in a naughty and close hug and vanished using a little tornado, sending little gusts of wind towards the 3 medic nins. At Naruto's apartment, Lemon sequence. Naruto and Anko teleported to his apartment as a way of attending the pack they formed back at Rice Country. They went inside and Anko noticed a little bit of clumsiness, seeing some clothes on the floor and some written scrolls. Make yourself at home, Anko-chan. said Naruto, before seeing Anko lying down on his couch in a very provocative way by taking her trench coat off, showing some skin. I'm sure I will. Naruto, after that, took off his Chunin vest and his rubber blouse, showing the results of hard training, much to Anko's delight. Seeing her new lover's body, Anko went daydreaming and started imagining lots of excited things. As Naruto lied down on top of her, he turned to kiss her passionately, as well as caressing her weak spot near the curse seal. Even with just his hands, Anko was already having trouble controlling herself. Seeing this, Naruto decided to go for the decisive blow and started licking that place, earning some deep shout from her, as well as freeing the animal inside the cage. Anko instantly flipped over, and now she was lying on top of him. She could feel his well-toned muscles as she was passing her hands. As she rested her hands on his whisker marks, he was also beginning to get excited, and his hormones were begging to be released. Not wanting to hold anything back, Naruto lost his control and kissed her with such passion that Anko was struggling to match it. Right now, she was trembling with excitement, and she started licking his body very softly, earning some shout from Naruto as she was going south with her tongue. After a while, she reached the beginning of his paints and smiled mischievously, before yanking his trousers and witnessing what will give her 1001 nights of extreme pleasure. Now grabbing Naruto's cock and massaging, she was feeling good that she was the one in control of Naruto right now. She enjoyed such a feeling, the feeling of being in control of a powerful man such as him, to hold his cock and show him that she was now running the show. After enjoying the feeling, she engulfed his cock inside her mouth, swallowing it halfway down, and then coming back up stopping on his head. As she heard moaning coming from Naruto, she intensified the procedure. After a while of sucking the immense cock, Naruto was having trouble holding from right on her face. But it seemed that Anko was looking forward to that, since she was intensifying the ritual. Anko-chan, I can't hold anymore said Naruto, now losing his mind while sending gusts of cum inside her mouth, much to Anko's delight, seeing that she was trying to swallow everything. Now even though Anko liked the feeling of being in charge of things, what she desired the most was someone proving her wrong, and Naruto did just that. After he came, he flipped her once again and ripped her remaining clothes, leaving her entirely naked and even more turned on than before. Oh, Kami, possess me Naruto-kun, said Anko, licking her lips in total ecstasy. In what could be better described as Jiraiya's most perverted books, Naruto started licking Anko's flower, earning more shout on her part. Anko for her part was losing her mind faster than before. She was loving the feeling of being controlled like that, and Naruto's tongue inside her was unbelievable. Anko was now moaning loud and started begging for Naruto to just stick it inside her and just ravage her. Naruto-kun, please, I can't take it anymore, please use me, I beg you. I can't hold anymore. Not being one to complain, Naruto did just that and started to put it in slowly. Anko right now pretty much forgot about everything. The only thing left on her mind was how Naruto's cock seemed to be filling every inch of her interior well like that. As Naruto was pounding inside her, she was screaming his name with such vigor that it could be heard all the way to Kumo. These two were like animals having naughty, each of them were focusing only on pleasuring the other with every way possible. Anko was straightening her inner walls to make Naruto's cock even harder, and Naruto was going deeper to reach the bottom of it. After 30 minutes of intercourse, both of them were sweating like two animals in bed. Anko and Naruto were on the verge of having an explosive orgasm, but when Naruto decided to use chakra, Anko lost her mind. The feeling was so good that she was now thanking Kami for such stamina. Harder, Naruto-kun, harder. Oh sweet Kami, I'm dot. Oh my god Anko-chan, I can't hold on any longer, oh my god, After the birth control jutsu, Naruto and Anko came together, before resting on top of each other, panting in exhaustion from the rough naughty they had together. Needless to say both of them were extremely happy with each other. Chapter 8. Naruto's new secret. After the moment, Anko and Naruto drift off to deep sleep with both smiles visible on their faces. But while Naruto was sleeping soundly, Anko was lying on his chest, wondering about the sudden events that surfaced since the Chunin exams until now. She was remembering first seeing Naruto 3 years ago, when he was just a noisy brat. She then remembered when he appeared 3 years later at the last Chunin exams, with a whole different appearance, more masculine, handsome, and experienced, everything was different about him. Anko then looked at his face and wondered how he could change so much not only in appearance, but in personality was unbelievable to her. Then their first mission together where they met each other for real, with each of them sharing their inner secrets, somehow not even caring about letting out something so deep inside, which happened to cause damages beyond a normal person's belief. Anko was pondering about something she long ago concluded. It was after she was retrieved from the hands of Orochimaru by the Anbu tracking team. She was able to get the confidence of the Sandaime Hokage and was able to rise to Takebetsu Jounin in almost record time. But since her incident with the snake Sannin, Anko vowed to never have feelings for anyone ever again. That's why all she did, that being scary and playing her role as Konoha's bitch, was just an act in order to keep everyone away from reaching her heart, which was her weakest spot of all. But now, she ended up breaking such a promise when she let Naruto into her life, and she was afraid to say the least. Anko believed deep inside that everyone hated her, and the only ones who tried to lure her with good deeds or anything was just so to get close to her and end up hurting her worse. She couldn't for her sake know what happened with her inner defenses when it came to the blonde Chunin. Something about him that Anko felt at peace, so to say. Like her, Naruto knew all the suffering and hatred that Konoha could offer for the ones who made them suffer greatly, but for Naruto and Anko's situation, their hatred from Konoha's civilization was because of acts made by Kyuubi and Orochimaru. Anko couldn't help but marvel at the display of Naruto's deep, piercing and yet innocent blue eyes. It was like she could look at them and just feel content with herself. Then she remembered his eyes when on their mission and shivered at the sight. Naruto's eyes changed somewhat, but it wasn't the eye color that changed or anything visible. It was the feeling that those who looked straight at him could sense. Anko felt fear for the first time in her life after Orochimaru, and that fact alone frightened her to the bone. She didn't want to fall in love with Naruto, even though he somehow urged some deep and buried feelings within her. Her mind would just drift to the past and remember all the experiments and when the snake Sannin put the curse seal inside her. Anko was in turmoil right now, and the reason of course being to trust or not to trust the blonde Chunin Naruto. When he wasn't on a mission, Naruto had the most beautiful eyes she had ever seen in her life, but when in a mission, she couldn't help but shiver from her memories of Naruto's eyes. As she lifted off his chest, she turned to look at the figure sleeping peacefully on the bed inside. He looked so at peace with himself, it's almost as if the fox wasn't even around. Now picturing having the nine-tailed demon inside Naruto, Anko kind of understood the reason behind Naruto's mission eyes. She was remembering that at first she felt afraid of such a display that looked like the eyes of a killer. Imagine Batausai's eyes when he's focused on killing, but as the mission progressed, she realized that such eyes were diverted to the enemy and no one else. Anko remembered the Hokage talking about Naruto and the fact that the man, not boy, changed a lot, but even she, who happened to consider Naruto as a part of her family, could identify this new Naruto. In fact, if one person were to know about how Naruto changed, it was his sensei Haddock Kakashi. Considering about talking to the silver-haired Jounin in the morning, she leant her head on Naruto's chest and got back to sleep, feeling somewhat warm inside when she was close to him. On the next day, when the sunlight came into Naruto's room, Anko woke up and left the apartment slowly, since she didn't want to wake him, as well as the fact that Anko didn't want for Naruto to know where she was going. She considered leaving a note for him not to worry about her, and so she picked up a blank scroll that was lying on top of Naruto's dining table and wrote a few lines, just so he wouldn't worry about her or even try to find her, at least not until she talked with the scarecrow Jounin. After some fast writing, she left and closed the door slowly before jumping to the ground in order to start her pace forward Kakashi's apartment, which she knew where it was from having to see why he was late sometimes when going on a mission with him. But as her mind was wondering about what to ask, Anko hadn't noticed a red-eyed Jounin that happened to be close to Naruto's apartment and got to see a strange-looking Anko leaving Naruto's apartment like she spent the night there. Upon seeing that, Kurenai smiled for her friend. Even though Anko was rather distant from her, not ever letting Kurenai reach out for her, she knew that deep inside Anko considered her a friend and that eventually she would come forward and tell what her heart feels or how much she has suffered through life. Kurenai knew that if someone suffered as much as Anko said person was Naruto, and the fact that Naruto held the most feared creature that ever came to Konoha, it was safe to say that Anko only suffered as much as Naruto up to some extent, but never just like him. Kurenai smiled at the sight of both of them together as a couple, since she didn't mind seeing that their age gap were different. Naruto has demonstrated such experience lately that Kurenai wondered if he wasn't lying his true age from people. Kakashi's apartment. Kakashi was having the time of his life. Just yesterday, he was able to acquire the newest version of the Icha Icha series, and he was having a blast while jumping through the pages and giggling like a schoolgirl. But like all times, such time seems to not last very long, as a fierce knock on the door was heard and Kakashi had to hide his book for a while. As Kakashi went towards the door, he was thinking that Naruto was the one who wanted to talk to him about something, or maybe Tsunade sending someone for another mission for him, but he was surprised to hear the voice of none other than Mitarashi Anko, yelling him to open the door in a very well Anko-like manner. Sighing, Kakashi opened the door, earning a little punch on his face since Anko, while slamming the door fiercely, wasn't paying attention and hit the Jounin dead on. "Ah Anko, nice to see you too, you didn't have to punch me in the face, I was just going to open the door, oh so have you know," said Kakashi, rubbing his left cheek from the incident. "Sorry about that, anyway Kakashi, I have to talk to you about something." It involves your student and the mess he created. Mumbled Anko, not entirely sure whether to tell the Jounin or decide to change the subject, since she wasn't entirely comfortable sharing what happened with a man that happened to consider Naruto his little brother. Sure Anko-san, please come in, tell me what did he do to you that make you so rowdy at this time of day? Asked Kakashi, displaying a face that looked like he was thinking of something else entirely and not even paying attention to Anko, much to Anko's dismay and slight anger. Wake up, damn it. I want to talk to you, not seeing you sleep while I'm here talking. Screamed Anko, managing to wake up Kakashi and shift away his thoughts of what would happen after the scene where the couple just had their first time naughty. What, okay Anko-san, tell me what do you want to talk about Naruto? Asked Kakashi, to which Anko started telling him all that had transpired on their mission, while seeing Kakashi's jaw dropping inch by inch as Anko was reporting her so-called relationship with Naruto. So are you saying that you Mitarashi Anko just had naughty with my student Uzumaki Naruto and on top of that may well start having feelings for him? Asked Kakashi, feeling somewhat vaguely familiar with such a story from his new book, but also remembering Naruto talking about her. It's not about that, you pervert freak. I want to ask you about Naruto's eyes. There is something to those that manage to put some dangerous senses inside my body, and I don't know what to make out of those. Said Anko, to which Kakashi sighed, knowing what Anko was referring to Naruto's eyes, as he saw the same thing on their missions together. Anko-san, tell me, when you saw Naruto's eyes, did you manage to see what appeared to be a light blue light on the corner of his eyes? Asked Kakashi, now being serious all of a sudden. As a matter of fact, I did Kakashi, what is that? When I looked at it, it's like Naruto is a new man, it seemed like he was a veteran killer or something like that, said Anko, while witnessing Kakashi in a thinking pose, while remembering seeing such eyes on the mission that Naruto was capturing the Suna missing nins. I don't know what it is, but definitely is not a Dojutsu, but I share your concern as I as well felt the same thing upon looking at Naruto's eyes, but I believe your description fit nicely Anko-san. Indeed, it felt like he was a true killer, but I didn't feel any malice towards me at all, but rather the enemy, said Kakashi, who appeared to be thinking out loud, but actually Anko was considering those very words. Kakashi, tell me about Naruto's sudden change, I was wondering about that as well. How the hell could he change so much? Asked Anko before seeing a happy smile from Kakashi, seeing as he happened to witness most of his students' changes and was happy to share such a story with her. Well, it all started when Kakashi began telling about Naruto's failed mission to retrieve Sasuke and took the blame, and then he told her about his duo elemental affinity training and Chunin exams. Kakashi ended up telling Anko about Naruto's little rampart episode some time ago when he happened to leak some of the Kyuubi's chakra while showing to everyone who terrifying were to be in his shoes while growing up, leaving a wide-eyed Anko who had her suspicions about that being Naruto but never had proof. Just to know now that that was a result of Kakashi telling him about Obito and the failure in comparison between Kakashi's past and Naruto's, disengaging Naruto's control over the beast since Naruto couldn't hold such negative emotions any longer, having to release it somehow. Anko was seeing the smile upon Kakashi's face when he talked about the fact that it was Naruto who saved him for feeling miserable over the loss of Kakashi's teammates and his sensei, which was by the way the Yondaime Hokage. Seeing that Anko got her answers and reached a conclusion about what to do about Naruto, she thanked the Scarecrow Jounin for his assistance and smiled, telling him that she could very well see Naruto's smile got to him and that if Naruto could save Kakashi like he did, he could very well save her as well for her nightmare. At Naruto's apartment. It was close to 10 and Naruto woke up to see that Anko wasn't there with him. Not bother to look around since his apartment wasn't that big and the only place that she could be was empty, that being the bathroom which door was wide open. As Naruto woke up, he went to the refrigerator and grabbed some milk for breakfast. After seating near the table, he came upon a scroll with just 3 or 4 lines written. Upon close inspection, Naruto saw Anko's name signing the scroll and turned to read the message. Hey Foxy, I needed to take care of something really early. I had a great time yesterday Anko. Not being one to express much of her feelings, thought Naruto as he read the note. Thinking about it, Naruto turned to smash his head on the wall, from not knowing it was actually sort of a first date kind of thing and that they ended up making love in the end. Deciding not to think about it and make a decision to find her sometime today. After doing some morning rituals known to all, Naruto left his house and headed for a training ground nearby. At the training ground. As he arrived, he turned to seat on the ground and just meditates on something. First of all, he wanted to improve what seemed to be his inner ground chakra sensor by trying to understanding a bit more about earth manipulation. Closing his eyes, he focused Doton chakra through his body so as to get a feeling of the ground beneath him. So far, he was only able to focus on inner ground perception up to a certain amount of time before losing control and sort of cutting the mental link. Naruto needed a technique that could grant him access below the ground, this way he could get a close grip on inner ground chakra sensor better. Seeing that he wouldn't do any good just being there, Naruto decided to do some research at the library to see if such technique existed. At the library. After greeting the librarian, Naruto asked for all Doton ninjutsu scrolls. Not wanting to take all of them, since they were quite a few which surprisingly were authored by the damn perverted of a Sannin, who by the way has a Doton affinity, much to Naruto's dismay, since the jackass could at least try to teach him elemental ninjutsu. Putting the past in the past, Naruto turned to look through the Doton scrolls. After about half of them were done, Naruto was fuming with rage. He couldn't find such technique and wondered if such technique is due to be invented or was on the other scrolls. 2 or 3 scrolls later, Naruto seemed to hit the jackpot. He found a technique called Doton Dachu Uijo no Jutsu, Earth Style. Underground Fish Projection Jutsu, and turned to read the description. It turned out was a C-rank ninjutsu in which the shinobi could fuse his body below the ground or inside a tree or rather inside a wall. Naruto grinned, knowing that such technique if learned correctly, could lead to a better understanding of the ground and that his senses would be improved greatly. Selecting such scroll, Naruto went to the librarian so he could borrow in order to practice the technique. Already with scroll in tow, Naruto left the library and went straight to the training ground so he could take a look at the scroll and see how such technique worked. Naruto appeared on the same training ground there he was before, but now sitting down and started reading it. At the training ground. It was almost lunch hour and Naruto was right now testing his technique. He already read the scroll twice in a way to learn how is such procedure. The scroll didn't reveal much, it said only to focus Doton chakra and get the part of the body that you wanted to mix with the ground, wall or tree. Since Doton wasn't one of Naruto's chakra affinities, he was having trouble trying to perform. Right now, Naruto was in trance about doing the damn technique that he failed to sense Yamato looking on him from a tree nearby. But Yamato, he has been thinking about their last encounter as he was sure it didn't end well, but now that he saw what Naruto could do in such little time, he began to wonder if what everyone was telling the truth about him being underestimated by the boy, his so-called teachers, and the fact that neither of them taught him much. Sighing where he was, he realized that he was being too harsh on the boy. Being a perfectionist in battle, Yamato made it to Anbu with professional skills, but he was an Anbu, and here he was judging a Genin now Chunin's abilities compared to his own. Somehow, Yamato expected for Naruto to be Anbu level because of his high chakra level and the ability to learn high-level ninjutsu and never-ending stamina. By seeing Naruto, Yamato could very well see one thing, Naruto was having difficulties at whichever Doton ninjutsu he was trying to learn. Being a Mokuton user that happens to be a mix between Suiton and Doton, Yamato could very well be a good help for Naruto to learn. But, deep inside he was thinking if Naruto would accept the man's apologies, Yamato didn't know if Naruto would still be hostile towards him or not. Sighing, since he didn't want to think much on the matter, just went close to Naruto, who by the way managed to take a look at the Anbu, knowing that it was Yamato, since he could feel Yamato's chakra. I know you know who I am, Naruto. I came here to apologize to you for my judgment. I'm sorry for expecting too much of you and ended up criticizing you more than anything. I know for a fact that you were able to become much stronger these days, since you managed to earn the position of Chunin. Said Yamato, trying to study the sudden eye change from Naruto, which from his experience in battle, Yamato already was waiting for an attack which fortunately never came. Naruto was feeling better about what happened some time ago, but when their last encounter came to his mind, such thoughts ruined it all. You don't need to apologize to me. I actually got to thank you for doing what you did. Without you, I would still be that obnoxious kid who couldn't do anything without depending on someone else. Said Naruto, still not looking entirely at the Anbu, but the hate sure was gone. I can see that you are learning Doton ninjutsu now, which technique are you trying to accomplish, maybe I can help you with? Asked Yamato, though that was his true intention all along. It's called Doton Dachu Uijo, but I'm having trouble in focusing Doton chakra rather than my two affinities Fuiton and Suiton. After some explaining about Naruto's jutsu, Yamato entered his thinking mode and started going through ways of helping the Kyuubi vessel. While he didn't know what to do, he thought about revise what was Naruto expected to do and see if he was doing something wrong about performing the jutsu. When Naruto tried the last time, Yamato was able to see that Naruto's chakra upon his hand was touching the ground, seemed to just stop channeling, but he believed it was a subconscious level. Naruto, I noticed that when you almost reached the ground, subconsciously you stopped to channel chakra rendering the technique useless. Just try to focus chakra all the way down, and then we go from there. Said Yamato as he explained the technique to Naruto who were only focused on the advice, not the teacher that so happened to underestimate him once back then. When Naruto's hand touched the ground this time, Naruto was surprised to see his hand apparently sinking into the ground, showing that he at least managed to get the basics of the technique. Yamato looked at it with interest. He somehow knew that this was Naruto's first attempts at the technique, and he got it this far. It was nothing short of amazing. Yamato was comparing Naruto to some Anbu comrades, and the time it took for them to learn a C-rank ninjutsu that wasn't linked to their element, and he had to admit that very few ninjas could do that, and those who could, it took them at least 2 days, where Naruto managed to learn it in just 1. After some more tries, Naruto managed to sink his entire body below the ground and appeared again on the surface, while smiling towards Yamato, making Yamato look at him with surprise. He knew that Naruto was pissed at him for what he did to him, but he figured that he was still furious after all. To see that Naruto was smiling, Yamato sighed, thinking that Naruto was kind of addicted to learning new techniques, and Yamato considered Naruto wanted to be a ninjutsu specialist in the future. Good job, Naruto. Now I must head back to headquarters. Continue practicing the technique. If you need any help, reach for me at headquarters, Jana. Greeted Yamato before disappearing in a swirl of leaves, leaving Naruto supposedly alone at the training ground, but he knew 2 people were watching him, and he very well knew who they were. From a little distance, Anko and Kakashi stood there watching Yamato's sudden change of hearts and taught a Doton technique to Naruto. Kakashi smiled, knowing Naruto had such ability. He could bring the best in anyone, hence how he changed the snake mistress Mitarashi Anko. By seeing the way Anko was looking at Naruto, Kakashi could only smile at seeing something he thought he would never see. Anko smiling, but apart from her mischievous smile covered with deception all over, this one was a genuine one. It was like Anko was looking at the blonde with infinite pride for being with him. Anko, for her part, managed to see Naruto learning the technique and smiled, not even knowing the way she smiled, which was different from the time she showed a smirk that was prior to one hell of a beating afterwards. Anko, after talking to Kakashi, wasn't frightened anymore of Naruto's eyes and could very well see his determination towards becoming stronger. Little did she know that Naruto's prankster side kicked in already, and a devious smirk was noticeable through his features. Kakashi managed to see it because of the Sharingan he activated to see which technique Naruto was learning before, and wondered if he managed to sense him and Anko. Naruto for his part had a plan, and the target was none other than Anko. Actually, Naruto was overestimating just how much his appearance would call her attention, but if it worked, it would leave the snake mistress with a jaw open and maybe a little nosebleed because of it. Not wanting to let them know that he already sensed them, Naruto feinted being tired and start taking off his vest and the top part of his uniform, showing a well-toned body, easily noticeable muscle features running through his arms, legs, chest and abdomen. Upon seeing this, Anko started to open her mouth in awe at such a sight. She was beginning to drool for Naruto's body, and images appeared inside her mind of Naruto's body on top of her, making her moan like crazy. Because of that, Anko was found having difficulties for controlling herself and not jump on him and have one more wild and rough naughty with the blonde who, according to Anko, couldn't be more perfect. Kakashi for his part turned to look at Anko and managed to sense some pheromones exhaling from her body and turned to see what she was looking at that was causing this and smiled mischievously, thinking of it as an introduction scene from the Icha Icha series. Seeing that he didn't belong to the place, Kakashi smiled before leaving in a swirl of leaves, leaving a drooling Anko who didn't even notice that Kakashi was gone. Her eyes and attention were all focused on Naruto's top naked body and picturing how he could just pleasure her once again with his body on top of her. At Tsunade's office. Doing her paperwork, Tsunade was starting to feel like practicing some Kaiten jutsus using paper as targets. She sighed, seeing a huge pile on top of her desk and wished someone else who'd do this type of thing. She was bored out of her mind and she would kill for finding something better to do than doing boring paperwork. Seriously, why again did I take this damn job? Well, I could gamble and drink all the time. Taking a break, she turned to take a look at the village from the Hokage's office. She managed to see some children playing around and sighed, remembering of a certain blonde that didn't have any of what the kids are doing now. She shivered once again, since she never know how it was not to have a childhood, always running from mobs of people, apathy eyes and the villagers' hatred towards him. Tsunade came to consider Naruto her family and she was suffering for the boy. Moreover, she was wondering about Naruto's mental stability, since anyone with half as much of suffering could very well commit seppuku with good enough reason to it. Deciding on a little espionage to see what he was doing or how he was, she picked Sarutobi's crystal ball and did the jutsu necessary for the ball to show her the needed image. But what she saw, it was nothing close to what she was prepared to witness. At the training ground. Having waited enough, Anko decided to appear near Naruto, therefore, completing his objective that was make her came at him. Upon turning to see her, Naruto turned to just study Anko's eyes, body expression, everything. Normally, any man who checked Anko out, such guy would be sent to the hospital from blood loss. But Anko this time was different. She was smiling, but this time she was picturing him entirely naked, possessing her like no one did before. Anko was famous from handling with men, scaring them, hurting them, but she liked more to be handled. She appreciated a man who had the balls to approach her and stand up to her. And Naruto did even more than that. When they made naughty, Anko was as loss of words at Naruto, taking control of the situation the way he did and just ravaged her in the most naughty way possible. "So, Anko-chan, appreciating the view, I presume?" asked Naruto, smiling seeing his plan worked, but Anko wasn't any other person and she would have another go with the Chunin. "I'm sure I am, Naru-kun, but I was remembering how you behave in bed and I was wondering if you would be so kind and take care of little old me one more time, just like before," said Anko, licking her lips being already turned on with all the teasing courtesy of Uzumaki Naruto. "Oh, I see you're turned on, Anko-hime. I do believe I'll have to take care of you in a way that you'd rather enjoy. Why don't you come here so I can treat you nicely as well as show you a good time right here," said Naruto, now calling her bluff but also turned on as well, wanting Anko right there. Anko smiled and started walking towards him slowly while swinging her hips in a very seductive manner. Upon arrival, Anko embraced Naruto and gave him a passionate kiss, and like this they stayed for a good 5 minutes while Anko's hand was passing through Naruto's arms and chest. Anko was having the time of her life, the kiss was electrifying and his body was just magnificent. She could feel his muscles and started imagining him being all sweaty from a fierce training. But while they were going at it, someone was watching wide-eyed as well as jaws practically on the ground. At the Hokage's office. Tsunade was looking at the scene not at all believing what was passing on the crystal ball. At first, the ball showed Naruto without his vest and the upper part of his uniform while talking to Anko who was looking at Naruto as if she was about to jump on him and have naughty with the blonde. At first, Tsunade thought about the snake's audacity while taking advantage of Naruto while he was training, but that went straight outside when she heard it was Naruto who was teasing and flirting with the snake mistress, to which she responded by smiling deviously. When Anko turned to kiss Naruto while embracing him, Tsunade was at loss of words at the scene. Here it was the once obnoxious kid giving pleasure to a woman older than him no less. Tsunade was pondering on continuing this, seeing that it was Naruto after all, and he was considered family to her, but as she continued to see the scene, something inside her which was long asleep after Dan was killed. Tsunade was getting turned on by the scene which by now, Naruto took Anko's coat off while rubbing his hands through her naughty body and ending on her tits, massaging them smoothly. Tsunade was for the first time losing control of her body. She was considering touching herself in her private area and massage nicely, but fought to compose herself since she was at a public place and Shizune could enter any minute now. After some minutes, she was beginning to sweat and some pressure needed to be released. She was watching Naruto now on top of Anko, now caressing her body slowly with his tongue, making Anko moan Naruto's name in one of the naughtiest voice she could muster, which managed to awake Naruto's inner beast. True to Tsunade's thinking, Shizune barged in her office, only to see a very attentive Tsunade staring at the Sandame's crystal ball. As she walked closely to see what's going on, she immediately dropped a scroll she was reading on the floor, awaking Tsunade from the trance of seeing Anko and Naruto's private moment. "Tsunade-sama, what the hell is this?" "Oh my, I mean Naruto-kun and Anko-san having. Oh my," mumbled Shizune that last part since like the Hokage, Shizune didn't even head naughty since she left the village being just 12 and followed Tsunade after she lost Dan. Shizune was at first like Tsunade about not wanting to see Naruto like this since they were like family, but somehow the scene had just awoke something inside Shizune and she was beginning to feel the temperature rising all of a sudden and then she entered in trance at the sight of Naruto now licking Anko all over her body and hearing Anko losing her mind in the process. Shizune and Tsunade were in trance, seeing it and just now wished some action like that as well. "Shizune, could you please lock the door? I don't want anyone entering here and see us spying such a wonderful love-making sequence," said Tsunade, whispering the last part, which Shizune nodded and went towards the door to lock and returned to see that Anko and Naruto were enrolled in a position that both of them were giving pleasure to each other. After some time and a few shout from Anko, Tsunade and Shizune were already exhaling pheromones and if one man suddenly entered the place, he would be very lucky. Right now, Shizune picked a chair and sat next to Tsunade as her legs were getting loose. After she positioned herself to a good seat right in front of the show, both Tsunade and Shizune were at a sudden loss of what to say, think or feel, upon seeing Naruto pleasuring Anko by sticking his insider with considerable extent, making Anko now scream for him to continue and increase the pace. Shizune was right now questioning her sister-type relationship with Naruto from seeing him and Anko going at it. Tsunade for her part was showing signs of losing control and start rubbing her body a little bit. She was sweating like a pig because of the intensity. A little more and she would lost it and screw the consequences, but she was safe when she saw Naruto and Anko finish the act in extreme bliss with each other. After that, Tsunade cut the chakra on the energy ball and for 5 minutes both women were in deep thinking pose. Shizune felt ashamed but still turned on by such display. Ashamed since she not only watched her so-called brother having hot naughty with the snake mistress and for a second wishing it was her. Tsunade for her part was astounded by Naruto's naughty abilities and the way he gave pleasure to Anko was nothing less of a master in the making. He was smooth, patient, considerable of her feelings in the process, and savage when appropriated. The girls were considering about seeing the blonde after what they saw and safe to say none of them would look at Naruto or Anko in the eyes anymore, at least for a few time. At the training ground. Right now, Anko and Naruto were lying down with Anko on her favorite spot, Naruto's chest. She was picturing the great naughty they had and she was on cloud 9 right now. All the teasing, then the slightly more perverted moves, finishing with Naruto filling her inside while making her have one of the greatest shouts she ever had. Naruto, for his part, was smiling from ear to ear. The reason is that his relationship with Anko was progressing. Naruto-kun, I've got to admit something to you. When we were at our mission together, I managed to catch a glimpse of your eyes and scared the shit out of me. For a moment, I couldn't breathe because of the killing intent. But, since such energy was focused on the enemies, I was relieved though images from your eyes being that way again, it got me scared by you. Said Anko, earning surprising look from Naruto, who by now de-iced then an explanation is in order. Since you know about him, Kyuubi, it's all his idea. When I channel regular chakra though my eyes, it's kind of a fusion between my blue eyes and Kyuubi's bloodlust eyes, and the killing intent I send towards the enemy, not my friends and comrades. You shouldn't be afraid, Haim, I'd never do anything to harm you. Said Naruto, making Anko feel even more for the blonde. After that, Naruto and Anko talked about such a use of this abilities and she was wondering about the possibilities. This was part 2. And this series will be finished in 6 parts. If you guys want part 3, comment down below. If you guys enjoy this part, then leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, it's time for me to go. Sayonara.